Ooh, she's so official. You guys, I'm here with Jaya Raghuvanshi. Did I say it right?
Hello. Hello, everyone. Yeah, absolutely. Jaya Raghuvanshi.
Raghuvanshi.
Long name.
Mine's long too. Okay, look at what we're making today. I just want to say welcome, Jaya. This is your first time teaching for Art Venture. We're so excited to have you. Your beautiful piece did so well in the auction, so thank you for your contribution to Art Forward. And you guys, hopefully you did some prep work, but are you ready, Jaya?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to let you take it away. Thank you. Welcome, Jaya.
Thank you. Thank you, Alina. Hello, everyone. So my name is Jaya Raghuvanshi, and I'm originally from India, but we moved to the US in like 2 years back. So today, as you all know, we are going to learn this piece of this mixed media canvas, the theme of which is Broken Angel. Now, this artwork has been inspired by something personal that is very personal to me. And when I came across a certain quote on the internet, I was like, I have to give it a try to vent out my emotions in some way. And that is what gave birth to this canvas, this mixed media piece. And I have tried to depict all of those, changes, those emotions, those incidents that happen in your life that maybe, that transform you to, thank you so much, Tracy, that transform you to the person you are today via the textures that I have given in this canvas here, the textures that have been given in the navy background here. And these textures depict the complexities of one's character that change you to the person you are today. And it's nothing like it's good or bad, it's just who you are, just accepting who you are and evolving from there, right? So that is what my theme for the canvas was. And now let's get started with it, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good class, a lot of detail. I want to share a lot of things with you all, like a lot of information, but I'm just trying to hold back because I do not want to confuse everyone. So let's first jump on to what supplies we are going to be using, because that is a very important part. And for our canvas here, I'm just going to flip the camera. Just a second. Can you all see? Is it up close?
It looks great, Jaya. We can totally see it.
Okay. Okay, so this is our canvas here, okay? And all of these textures that you see, I have not used any stencils for these. And this is just gesso, literally gesso. Even the highlighting has been done with gesso. I have not used waxes or anything. You can use waxes, but for our canvas here, I just wanted to show you how you can maximize and stretch your supplies. So we have worked with mostly these supplies that I'm going to show. There are 4 or 5 things here. So the first thing that we are going to use the most is these heavy gesso from Prima Marketing. Now, gesso is basically a primer for your surfaces. So whatever surface you want to work on, whether it is glass, wood, a piece of metal, fabric, anything, just make sure you coat it with a layer of gesso. Now, choice of color is completely up to you. You can use white, black, or clear. Okay. For our class here, we are going to use white gesso because I just wanted that my wood color not to show through. Okay. So I asked you all to prime your canvases with a good coat of white. Okay. And Just as the name suggests, white dries white, black dries black, and clear will dry clear. Okay, and now coming on to why you need gesso. Why do you need to prime your surface with gesso? It is because gesso acts as a barrier between the surface and the paint. So it will not let your pigments, especially if you're using like liquid based products like sprays, for instance, what happens is the moment you will spray on wood, all of the liquid will just seep inside the wood and the pigment will be left on top in form of splotches. So that is why you always want to prime your surface, especially if it is a wood. Now, let's say you want to work on a piece of metal or glass. Why do you need to prime that? Because glass and metal are not porous, right? Your paints have nothing to hold on to because they're slippery. So that is why when you apply a layer of gesso on top of it, now gesso literally binds to the glass, the surface that is behind it and the surface that is in front of it, right? So it acts as an intermediate and it gives teeth to your paints to hold on to grab onto. So that ways your paints will stay on the surface forever. That is why we need to start with gesso first. So I hope I'm clear. Okay, I want to share these things because I want you all to understand the process, just so that you know when you're starting some kind of artwork for yourself, you know what you're doing is right. You I don't want you to end up like regretting that, oh, I should have applied gesso. I just wasted everything, right? So that is why I just wanted to let you know why you need to prime everything with gesso. Now, the second thing that we're using here is our impasto paints. So I'm going to use this black impasto paint by Prima and this blue one. And we are going to create our canvas, mixing these two and creating, tones out of it. This is basically heavy body acrylic paint. That is it. It is heavy body acrylic paint. And the third thing that and plus here, we are also going to be using this one. This is the bronze acrylic paint by Prima. And this is a metallic shade. Okay, I just wanted a little bit of, glam to this absolutely textured piece. So I added a bronze metallic paint here. And the last thing that we're going to use, I mean, not the last, but one of the last main ingredients is this texture paste here. Okay, texture powder, I'm so sorry. So this texture powder is basically a thickening agent. And if you add it to anything, your paints, your pastes, anything out there, it will thicken it without giving it any color. Okay, and if in the middle of night you're crafting and you think that, okay, I just ended up finishing my bottle of texture powder, you don't have to worry. Until and unless you get your stock, you can always use baking soda for it. So that is a very cheap and cheap hack for texture powder. Use baking soda. It does exactly the same thing. Okay. So these are the four main things that we are going to use on our canvas here. And of course, not to forget our palette knives. And these are plastic palette knives. And I hope if you have seen my prep video, I've told you how you hold your palette knives. And if not, I'm just going to repeat it for you once again. So this is the one that we are going to use the most of the time. And this is how your palette knife looks, okay? So how you hold it is you place your thumb on this side, and it is same for right or left-handed people. No, there is no, nothing that changes here. Place your thumb like so. Place your middle finger just opposite to the thumb. Okay, like this. This is the grip. And then you place your index finger on the handle. Now, these two fingers are accessory, and you just place them anywhere you're comfortable when you're holding the palette knife, right? And when you do this, and if suppose I'm a left-handed, then I will hold it exactly in the same fashion and place the two accessory fingers like so here. Okay, and this is how you use your palette knife. Okay, so this is one of the main palette knives. You can create wings out of this. You can create petals out of this. There is innumerable possibilities that you can, shapes that you can create with it. You can build up this ridge, for instance, was built up using this. These feathers have been created using this. Okay, so these are like the 5 basic supplies that we will be using. Now, coming on to angel outline. I hope everyone is prepped, right? Can someone let me know if I can start with the angel outline?
So here's what I'd love for you to do, Jaya. If anyone's not prepped, go ahead and work on it. But
Okay,
if you
sure.
could just do a quick recap of prepping, just because this is a recorded video. So anyone that—
Yes, of course.
quick recap.
Of course. Yeah, sure. So what have we done is, this was a wooden board and the wood color is really difficult to hide. Okay, so what you need to do is you have to apply gesso on your surface. Okay, so what I did was just take some product on the back of your palette knife like this. Okay, and what you need to do is when you take this product on the back of your palette knife, you just have to sweep it like this. Okay, now wood being such a textured surface, it will be bumpy, so you don't have to worry about it. It is only going to add to our textures later on. So this is how you are going to prep, and you have to do it to the entire surface. Okay, the entire surface, and at least 3 coats are required. You have to dry in between. At least 3 coats are required for you to get an even looking surface. Okay, so this is basically how you're going to prep, and I'm just going to give it a quick sweep here. And because I'm doing it like for the 4th time, I'm using my batch of gesso because I do not want to use this till the point I start the actual process. So let's say, and now what you have to do is just kind of scrape and reapply, scrape and reapply. Okay. And I like to do it in the direction of the grains. And that is simply because, it is a lot easier to apply in the direction of the grain rather than against it. That is the only reason.
Jaya, can I just give a quick shout out to Walnut Hollow for supporting your class?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Walnut Hollow, because these panels, you guys, are so awesome. I mean, I got some from Amazon when I had to make my own sample, but I am telling you, they do not compare to what Walnut Hollow has supplied us with.
I agree. And don't you think that it's so cool that you can use the inside and make a frame?
Exactly. In fact, I wanted to give this option to people who want to do it on the inside. Maybe you do not, you just prime the whole thing. And if you feel that, okay, it will be a little bit difficult to fit in the whole figure inside, you can just have the wing inside, right? Or something like that. Maybe just use the textures or maybe make some other, formation using the same techniques. So that is one really, because this really thick border outside, it acts as a frame for whatever is inside, your composition on the inside. So that is a really cool thing.
One more thing, Jaya, there is a coupon code for Walnut Hollow, and I don't know when it expires, but please check that.
Please check that, yeah.
Yeah, and also these palette knives came from Multicraft. We really thank them too. We wanted to try to put everything we could into these kits for you guys. So
thank you so much, Alina. These palette knives are awesome. They are not only beginner friendly, even if you are advanced into your crafts, these are very flexible, and it's very easy to make strokes with plastic palette knives. So I have a ton of them. I have like this whole big bunch of them. But yes, this is something you should invest in if you want to, try out palette knife painting and stuff like that. Okay, so this is basically how you prime your canvas. And I will just give it a quick heat.
Barbara wanted to know if they have to do the sides.
Barbara, you can do the sides. I am avoiding it for now just because we have only limited supply of gesso. But if you have your own gesso on the side, we can always apply acrylic paint. What I do is I do this. I'll just show it to you. Just a second. Let me bring up close. So this is how I do the sides. I apply acrylic paint on the sides. A little dirty. I'll refinish it, but I apply my acrylic paint on the side. Gesso is only for the surfaces where you are doing your artwork, right? So you can always use acrylic paint or any other paints that you are using on the sides. Now, while we are drawing this, I just want to talk to you about what exactly is like mixed media art. So I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you're fine. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. So the gesso does not come in larger tubes, but it does come in these, I'll just show it to you, these tubs. Okay, here, these tubs. And this is like 17 ounces of gesso. So it will last you a long time if you can get one of these tubs. I will probably do. Yes, of course, it's absolutely okay. If you do not want to use a lot of gesso, you can do it in the end. Okay, so wherever we have the whites showing, you can use gesso at that place only. So now let's come on to our angel outline. And there was a lot of confusion, I guess, with regards to the angel outline. So if you have a printout and you have not been able to trace it, I'm going to show you how to trace it. Okay, so what I just wanted you to do was mark your 4 and 8 inches on your canvas here. Okay, like this. And just simply line the 4 and the 8 inch on this sheet here and line up that edge with the edge of the canvas, and then place a carbon paper beneath it and trace it out. Right? Now, if you have not been able to get a printout of it, I'm going to show you how to draw it. So this is our 4 inch and this is our 8 inch. What if we don't have carbon paper? I'm going to show it to you how to draw it. It's very simple.
Can we also let them know, if you don't have carbon paper, you can take your pencil and scribble over the back of the paper. Okay.
I did not have carbon paper, so when I was drawing the outline, I was using a pen actually, because it was easier to penetrate, and I just ripped off the areas. Literally, I was doing this. I was like literally, very hard on these areas like this, and then they left an imprint and I just connected the dots. So that is what I did. I did not have a carbon paper. What if we don't have carbon paper? Okay, that I'd answered. You can always draw as I'm telling you, or you can do that. You can also do one thing, just cut this out like so. Okay, cut it out, place it where you want to and draw. It's that simple. You don't need to have carbon paper. I was thinking of adding ribbon or something around the edge. Perfect. Whatever works for you. Seriously, Rajina, because this is your work, your artwork, right? You are just learning a few tips and techniques from me, but the artwork is yours. So just go ahead and do what you feel like, right? So this is the 4 inch mark and this is the 8 inch mark. And here is my 4 and 8 here. So now how you draw it, usually what I like to do is, I wanted to keep the wings like occupying the 2/3 of the region and the head in the 1/3 of the region. Okay, so this is like the 1/3 and this one is like the 2/3. So simply what you need to do is, just let's say this is the region that is going to form the side of my wing. Okay, now I want to have a 3-finger gap supposedly. I mark it like this. I'm like, okay, this is how far I want my wing to be. Or let's say maybe this is how far I want my wing to be, right? And from the bottom, I want my wing to have like a 2-finger gap or a 1-finger gap. This is just approximation. You can decide how big or how small you want your wing to be. So I want it to have like a 2-finger gap over here, and like supposedly a 3.5-finger or 4-finger gap from here. Okay. And let's say this is the 4-inch mark over here, and I want, so just clarify, there are 2 or 3 types you can have your wings like. So one is making it more like a triangular, okay? And the other one is making it more like a circular form of wing. The only difference was that this was a more softer version of the wing, okay? And this is a little bit on the harsher side. So I wanted my canvas to have a little soft look. So what I opted was for a semicircular or ovalish kind of look. So let's say I want my wing to be this high. This is the 4-inch mark, you guys, okay? So I want my wing to be like this high, so exactly around the 4-inch. So what I will do is rotate your canvas like this, okay? So that it is easier for you to draw this oval shape. Draw a line like this J sort of a line, okay? And now simply connect these. Okay, simply just connect this. Now this is just an approximate outline, okay? And now once you have done this, now supposedly I'm just feeling that if I'm going to draw my wings this much, this over here, and here is going to be my angel, the figure, the head of the angel. So just think in your mind how you want it to be, how far or how far from this place you want your angel figure to be. And just a second. Just make the wing as large or as small as you want it to be. So let's say I want my angel figure to have like supposedly this big, this much of gap. Just draw a small U shape. The head, I will just adjust it in a little while. But as of now, I'm just looking how much I want it to be. Okay, so there it is. Okay, and see, someone had asked me, is it important to have a sketch before I start with the canvas? It is not important. Once you have your like idea and everything, if you have practiced doing what you're doing for long, it is very easy for you to just go in with a palette knife and start your work. But if you're a beginner, or if you are someone who is not very artistic, but you know, does not have a very good, you know, concept of what should I say, the how big or how small things should be. So it is a very good starting point. Just have a rough outline, and it will help you. It will save you a lot of hassle, a lot of time. Okay, so that is why I wanted to start with a sketch rather than, you know, just tell you, okay, just do this. Now let's shape, give a little bit of shape to our thing here. Like this. And now this is just going to help you to give your strokes. Okay, something like this. So this is just going to help you give your strokes. And now this is the point, the top point in the wing. You just want your head to be a little bit, you know, above it. So maybe this is the top part of my head. And let's say this is how far I want it to be on the canvas from here, from this edge. And this is how far I want it to be from the wing. So this is like 1 finger from my 1 finger and 3 fingers, okay? I'm just giving you an approximation. You are totally free to do it the way you want, okay? And now simply just join this again. Okay, and let it fall. Let it fall. Okay, and then The way you want to style her hair is completely up to you. Okay. Oh my God. Please let me know. Thank you so much if you do appreciate the detailing, because when I talk, I like to tell you everything that goes on in my head. But at any point, if you feel, you guys, that I am being a lot, I'm stressing a lot into some things and I'm not just straight to the point, please do let me know. I will really appreciate it. Okay. So are we clear on this part? Right? Now, the last thing that you need to notice is that our canvas here has these broken areas. Okay. Now, I'm just going to simply draw it like this so that it acts as a guideline for my next step, especially for my next step. Okay. So this is like a diagonal kind of a line, which I have tried to, dip at this point, just to create a little bit of interest. You could go straight. I tried to dip it. That is it. Okay. Are we good till now?
I think you're doing great, Jaya.
Thank you. Thank you, Lena. Okay. So just a second. I forgot to put charging on my phone and Zoom just drains the battery, right? So yeah, there we go. Now that we have done till here, the next step is creating a difference of textures. As you can see here, this area is heavily textured, while this area I've left blank, even though there are bumps and ridges in this area, but I have not highlighted them. This area, I need a lot of textures. So this is what we are going to do. Now, if you have your palette knife, pellets, take them out. What I like to do is I use a plastic sheet, something like this, the old packages. Okay, because there is a lot of mixing. So now the tube of gesso that has half of it left in it, you need to take gesso out from it. Let me switch on the light. Yeah. And just take out a little bit. I'm so sorry for this weird noise. Okay. Now, this is our gesso, right? What you need to do is take some product on the back of your knife. You see? This is the product. Take some product on the back of your knife like this. Okay. Now we need to create strokes. And this time we need them bumpy. Okay. So this is my guideline. And I'm going to keep myself limited to this area. Do not hesitate in turning the canvas here and there if you want, because you need to work with the palette knife and you need your motions to be like, natural. So if you're buttering your bread, you just angle it, right? And then you butter it. Similarly, just do the same with this canvas, just angle it and start adding this gesso. And what I'm going to do now, this time, what I'm going to do is just simply create vertical strokes. Long and short vertical strokes. That's it. Even if you go above that line, please do not think that, oh, I do not have to go above it. Just try to contain yourself, because otherwise, we do not have a lot of gesso. So we do not want to use it in areas we don't need. So just keep on creating long and short strokes like this. Okay. Just do this, do this, do this, do this. And this will give you a good textured background. Can you see? Right? Please do not worry about the pencil mess. Most of the part will be covered. If it is there on some places in the whiter areas, what you can do is later on when your work is completely dry, okay, the other day, probably, what you can do is just go in with some white acrylic paint and, just kind of try to blend it and it'll go. See, most of the areas are going to get colored, so you do not have to worry about them. The whiter areas, you can always finish it when your painting is completely dry, right? Don't worry. Everything can be mended. So I wanted to talk to you about what is mixed media art. Basically, mixed media art is a form of art that was not like, it came out not only recently, obviously 100 of years back, but yeah, relatively recently, when people, they grew adventurous and they wanted to bring in, combine a lot of mediums of art. So earlier what happened was there were only forms of art like oil painting, acrylic painting, watercolor painting, in which you were expected to, stick to those paints, those mediums, right? But mixed media art is something where you have the freedom, to literally, do anything, literally go, like you can use on a mixed media panel, you can use fabric, you can use metal, you can use plastic, you can use, anything and everything to create your art. Plus, even when it comes to using paints, you are not restricted. You can use acrylic paints, you can use sprays like pigment sprays, you can use oil paints, you can use food derived paints like coffee and tea. So that is mixed media art, which basically means a form of art which has mixed mediums in it. What are all these colors, these paints? These are all mediums, right? So this is what mixed media art is. It is basically an art form which allows you to mix different, things all together. So there is a lot of gesso still left in it, and I will be using it maybe later on, but I'm just telling you, please do not throw these tubes out. There's a lot in them. And just keep on repeating this pattern, this thing. No worries if you're going outside the lines that we have drawn. It's completely okay, because ultimately it is all going to come together, however you have done it. Okay, so there we go.
Jaya,
Okay.
can I interrupt you for a moment?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Arina.
so first of all, I'm loving painting with this palette knife. I want everyone to know that whatever you've drawn on there with the girl, you're going to be covering her. So please don't panic if you are struggling with the girl. She was just trying to give you a bit of a starting point. But Jaya, you are using this heavy gesso almost like a modeling paste. Or
exactly, Alina. Yes.
Okay.
The thing is, if you have not that thick a layer of gesso, you can use it, even the heavy gesso by Prima is not like the gesso by Liquitex. Okay, Liquitex gessos are meant specially for acrylic mediums. This is heavy gesso. This is not just gesso. So you can actually build with this product. Not a lot, but still a little, it is a little buildable. So this is what we've done here. We have tried to create our textures with gesso. Instead of using stencils, I've used gesso. Okay.
It's a great way to stretch your mediums. That's awesome.
Exactly. That is the whole, as a beginner, when I was a beginner, I did not have access to each and everything. Okay, so it is very important, what all you can do with your mediums that you have in your hand. So that is one way to make use of your heavy gesso. Okay, so now let's dry it quickly.
If anyone needs any more clarification,
please let me know if
gesso,
you have any questions.
Yeah, go ahead and put your questions in there now. Otherwise, I feel like you're doing such a detailed explanation. So thank you, Jaya.
No, if you, I seriously want to stress on this, that if you at any point in time feel that I'm going a lot in deep, please just stop me. Okay, I do not want to confuse anyone, but I just want that everyone should understand the in-depth things, because you can recreate this piece, but what if you want to create something from scratch for your own self, right? So you should know the little things that I am, that make or break your project, right? If you do not prime your canvas, maybe it will not last that long. So that is why I just wanted to cover these small little details.
Thank you. And do you clean off your palette knife, Jaya?
Yeah, usually I do. I should actually. You should always clean your palette knife, otherwise, it's unnecessary hassle. Okay, where are my baby wipes? So let's just dry this. If you have any questions, please let me know.
I think they're all gessoing right now and enjoying the process of building up this texture. I just love the way the texture is looking.
Thanks, Selena.
Since they're not asking questions, that means you're not confusing.
Okay, thank you so much for saying that. I was so worried. And my husband was like, keep it simple, keep it simple. I was like, okay, I
Love it. He's like over there cheering you on and telling you how you this is your personality, Jaya. Just remember.
Thank you, Elena.
We love it. And Jaya has been doing wonderful live streams on Prima's page. So please check out Jaya's live stream.
Yeah, I have been doing lives for like 6 months now on Prima's page, and that is where it all started from.
Yeah. And you're enjoying it, right?
I love it. I literally love it. Okay, so I do have my talking points actually. I've written everything down so I do not stray.
Of course you do.
Okay, so should I start with the next step?
I think you can.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I seriously appreciate that you love this form of teaching. I do want you to understand my process. That is why I just like to go a little bit in detail. I don't want to confuse you. That is not my aim. But yes, I want you to have the freedom to create when you want to. You should know the things, and creating or not creating is completely upon you. But I want you to know that this is the technique, right? So the next step, now this is not completely dry in any ways. You can see that it's still wet in certain areas. Just make sure you don't touch that thing. So in the meanwhile, we can work on the other things here. Now just take your new bottle of gesso, this tube of gesso, sorry. And now we need to make the wings. So I need a good quantity of gesso for that. Okay, now these wings also have been made using gesso and this magic powder. This is the texture powder, and it will literally create like a paste out of this gesso. So I want you to take a good quantity of it. Okay. And if we fall short, we can always, go ahead and mix some more. Now, because this powder has the tendency to fly, just create a little well here and add. Okay. And I like to fold this gesso like this. Can you see? Because I don't want the texture powder to fly. So just very slowly start mixing with the tip of your palette knife. Okay. Let's keep this canvas a little on the side so that I don't mess it. And here you can see how I'm mixing it. Now just fold it in. Lift and fold it in. Lift and fold. This is how you mix your paints and pastes with palette knife. Lift and fold. Lift and fold. Just like you would do to your blankets or something. Lift and fold. Guys, am I stuck? Is everything okay? Please let me know if
you're fine. You're fine.
Okay. So lift and fold, that is the only way of mixing with palette knife. Now, once your product is mixed, look out for the consistency. I feel this is a still lot runny. You see how it's falling? I don't want this. So let me add a little bit more texture powder. And once again, just try to, minimize the this powder from flying away. And lift and fold. Scrape everything from the sides. Bring it to the center and lift and fold.
Did you say what you're using for your palette right there? Is that just packaging?
It's just packaging. Actually, the thing is, when you use your palette, you're just constrained to a very small area. So because I'm using a palette knife, I like to use a larger surface, and packaging is like something you get right. And the other advantage of using packaging is that this plastic actually helps to, sweep up. You can easily sweep your product from areas and work very easily on plastic. You can also use glass surfaces, but then you can just throw this away after you work, so it's way easier. Because our work with a palette knife, you have to mix so much. That is why I like to use packaging, because it gives you a good surface area to work. And I am mixing so much of texture powder, guys, because the more texture powder you have in your gesso right now, it is going to decide the drying time of your wings. Okay, the more texture powder, the easier your wings are going to dry. The faster, sorry. Right? And the more buildable your paste is going to be. Now, can you see how high this is building up right now, right? So this is the consistency I want for my wings. Now I will just scrape all of that product to the center so that I have all the product in one place. And okay. Now whatever extra is left or is on this side, I'll just scrape it out. So there we have how we mix our pastes. Okay, and this was the texture powder by Prima. If you don't have texture powder, do not worry. You can always replace it with baking soda. Of course, that is a hack. And this is something that Prima has spawned, and your composition and everything, they know their job. So you can always trust them to give you the best thing out there. So now the next thing that you need to do is rotate your canvas like this, please. Okay, because why am I asking you to do this is because it is easier to pull your strokes rather than it's like cooking actually, how you mix your batter. So it is easier to create pull strokes. Okay, and you cannot create pull strokes like this. You have to pull them towards you. So what you need to do is rotate your canvas like so. Okay, and now what you need to do is, this is the back of your palette knife, right? The back is always the working surface when it is the palette knife. Now what you need to do is pick this product up on the back surface of your palette knife, right? Now I'm going to show it to you how you have to create. I'm doing it on this very surface here. Can you see? So now what you have to do is, when you have your product on the back of your palette knife, just do this. Okay, once again, just do this, which means when you first press the tip of your palette knife, then press the whole body and sweep. Sweep it like this. This will make the product that was on the back of your palette knife roll up from these two sides. So this. Now this will create the feather for you, okay? Try it out on your packaging or whatever palette you have or any other surface, and then you can try it out on your canvas if you are worried. But you can directly do it here. If you're not satisfied with the result, scrape off the product and redo it. That is, as you do not have to worry at all about it. Okay, so now I'm taking the product on the back of my palette knife, right? And now what I'm going to do is, this is where I'm going to start. This is the lowest point on this feather. And I'm just simply going to place it here and roll it. Okay. This was the pull stroke. Once again, this is going to be so monotonous. You're going to love it. I'm pretty sure. If you just do it once or twice, you will get the hang of it. So now this was the lowest point. I'll start from a little higher this time. Place it and pull it. Now, once again, product on the back of your palette knife, place it and pull it. Is everyone clear?
I think they're practicing right now, so.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So I just want to let you know that the feathers that we will be creating on the lower side, okay, on the bottom, let me show it to you. These feathers will be longer, okay? And as we advance towards the top part of this wing, the feathers will grow dense, okay? So the bottom strokes that you are creating, just pull them as much as you can. You should have good product on the back of your palette knife, good amount. Place the tip first, and then when you're sure, just pull it, okay? Place the tip first. Now that you know you want it here, pull it. Now just place the tip like so. Now, when you're coming out on this side, just start to, separate the feathers. Don't go in like this, like one feather over the other. Just angle the feather a little outside and pull it. Is it simple? Oh, it's so satisfying. Thank you. Okay. Once again, place the tip and pull it. This is how you will make these feathers. And the same strokes will go if you want to make supposedly flowers. This is the palette knife you're going to use when you make flowers as well. Okay. So there are many strokes, I think, if you want, then I can let you know. But you can try out these strokes in so many fashions, right? Right now, what we are going to do is over here. Place the palette knife and pull it. Place and pull. And once again, place and pull. Okay. So this is how I want it to be. These were the longer feathers, right? And now I don't like this feather, supposedly. Just going to scrape it just like this. Okay. And redo that area. Place and pull. There is no right or wrong. Trust me, this is a broken angel and it does not matter how her wings look. I am going to create some falling wings and everything. You are free to do that as well. If you don't want to do, it's perfectly fine. Okay. Now coming on to the wings that are on the feathers that are on the insides. What I will do is, now I will start from this point here because I want those long feathers. And now what I'll do is just repeat the same thing. But now my strokes are not that long, if you see, okay? Just place these feathers wherever you feel like, okay, this is an empty part. I want some more product here. Just keep on doing that. Okay. There is no right or wrong here. You just want a full look for this feather. Place and pull. Not satisfied, go again. Do the same thing. Place and pull. And now let's come on to the shorter feathers here. Small strokes. You see how I'm doing that? And every time you create, you're not going to get the same results. So don't even worry about that. Okay, this is not a mass-produced stuff. So yes, that is how we go. The smaller feathers. Please let me know if you want me to stop. It's basically the same thing over and over again till you reach this top part. Okay. Now I want a little bit of feathery look on this side, maybe. So what I'll do is, okay.
It's beautiful, Jaya.
Thank you, Elena. Now, once we are done with this, we want to create kind of a ridge pattern for the top part of this thing over here. Let me show you this area. Okay. So what, I don't know what it is called, but I have a lot of product on the back of my this palette knife. Let me mix a little bit more. I feel maybe a little less. Okay. So there we go. Now what you need to do is, I'm going to just angle it so it's convenient for my hands to form this ridge. Simply take a lot of product on the back of your palette knife. Okay, don't touch this, it's still not very dry. And do this. Just wipe the product like this and do this. Sweep it to form the same angle, you know. Me too, I was also out of it, and so it's okay, you can always make more. Okay, form this ridge, and now just curve it like this, just to give it a more defined, a more you know, better look. So what we are doing here is, we have the product on the back of a palette knife, and I'm just placing it like this and shaping. Okay, just shape it with the help of your palette knife. You don't have to be perfect. That's it. Okay. And now at this point, you guys, we are going to dry our wings. Okay, and after this, wings and this whole texture and everything, it is going to take a little bit of time. So we will be prepping up maybe a little, and I will be telling you about how you can find inspirations and how you can, you know, be sure that the colors you're working with is absolutely on spot. So if you've not completed the step, I'm just going to dry it. You can, you know, keep on making the feathers, and we will talk about a little. I hope everyone has understood how I made the wings. If not, please do let me know right now. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, Oriana, thank you. Thank you. Host, it's perfect. Please continue. No problems. I'm just trying it. Should I move it away if my heat tool is a lot loud? I should move it away if you want.
No, you're fine. It's not loud. You're good.
Okay, thank you. So now let's talk about inspiration, okay? I'm going to give you certain tips, okay, which are going to work for you if you are a beginner, if you are intermediate or advanced. These tips are going to work for you at any level, right? And these are of course, this is I'm just telling it to you because I feel that when we are all beginning, we have, we are not very sure if we are doing it right, or if my colors look together and everything. So this is what you can do. There are two things. First is the inspiration, okay, and second is first is how you get inspiration. So you can be inspired by many kind of things, right? The two easiest things, if you are not feeling very inspired to do, is go onto a website called Pinterest.com. I think I know that they also have an app. So just download that app or go to their website, Pinterest.com, and just, write words like food photography, or cake photography, or maybe landscape photography. Okay. So what happens is that it gives you really amazing images from all around the world, which are available on the internet. And they can be your, if you like any one image, that image can be your starting point of actually starting your artwork. Maybe say you're inspired by a landscape, okay? Or maybe say you are inspired by a photograph of a textured door, for instance. So what you can do is just download that image on your phone. And next, what you do is pick up the colors that are present in that picture and make those colors your color palette. Do not stray away from those colors. You liked that picture for a reason. Okay, so pick up those colors and decide, okay, these are the colors I'm going to play with on my work. Second, you like the textures. Maybe you like the arrangement, something about that photograph. What did you like the most? Was it the textures? Try to imitate those textures on your artwork. Okay, so this is how you get inspiration from a photograph. Now, next, coming on to inspiration from certain forms of poetry or certain, poems or phrases or something. Once again, you can simply go onto the internet or go onto Pinterest and type that quote, maybe say, type whatever quote inspires you, and then you will land up with many pictures. Can you show how to do the ridges at the top again? Yes, sure, I'll show it to you. So what you can do is, whenever you're doing this, I forgot where I was. Yeah, so I'll just show it to you with the gesso, if that is okay, Mindy. So supposedly this is your texture paste, okay? Yeah, so this is your texture paste, okay? Now what you need to do is just pick it up on the back of your palette knife and place it like this. The product on the back of your palette knife, and place it where you want that ridge, exactly there, like this. And then what you do is take your tip of the palette knife and then shape it the way you want. Okay, now lift it up and do it like so. Shape it with the tip of your palette knife, right? Now, supposedly this is how I did the top part. Now I want to do this area. Similarly, place it like so and remove the excess that sweeped out on the sides with the tip of your palette knife. Okay. And once you're done, just try to lift it with the tip, shape it a little. It does not need to be perfect. The more, you know, certain these textures in there, the more prettier it is going to look, right? This is how you're going to do it. Am I clear now, Mindy?
So Jaya, I love the way you're describing inspiration. Thank you so much for that. I think we have people that want to catch up a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
yeah, thank you for showing that shoulder again, because I think just clarifying the technique is always wonderful. And some people are mixing.
So should I proceed or do I stop? Just let me know. I still have to dry this.
Yeah, she's still going to be drying. So go ahead and take your time and she can continue giving you more thoughts on inspiration for creating.
Exactly. That is why I just was, because this is going to take time, you guys. This is not going to dry as fast as we want it to be. Although we've mixed a lot of texture paste, but still it does need time. Okay.
Perfect.
So now I was on inspiration. So simply type those words on Pinterest and you will have a lot, many pictures that will pop up. And if you get inspired with some of those pictures, with some of those images, you can, always make an artwork out of that. Okay. Now let's suppose, say you are not a person who wants inspiration at that point in time. And you're like, okay, I just need to do something. I need to kill my time. So what you can do is, do you have a favorite color, or do you feel like you want to make some artwork with some sort of color? Then what you can do is just go onto Pinterest and type, supposedly I want to create something with, say, purple. So what I'll go to, or say a pink. I'll just go onto Pinterest and type pink color palettes. Now it'll give you thousands of options for pink color palettes. Okay, and you can pick whichever works the best for you, and you can just simply use that color palette in your work, and you are going to be, good to go. Color wheel is also a thing, but you need to understand how to study it. I think it will come with practice, but this is like a very easy method that I'm telling you right now. Very easy way of doing it. Okay. Now let me see if this is dry. Our gesso is like dry enough. And now what I'm going to do is, because this is a little wet right now, I'm going to take the tip of my palette knife and try to create some strokes in between. This was something that I should have done earlier, so I totally forgot about it. I'm sorry. If your texture wings is still dry, just try to create these grooves in between, just to add a little bit more texture. Okay, it's not possible in mine.
If they want to really get those grooves in there,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, you can add a little more product if
you like these little scratches in between the feathers. If you want, you can add those. So that'll give it a little bit more texture. Okay, so let's continue this thing. And if your gesso is dry, just let me know. I will start with doing the blue background now. You can start drying your gesso part so that we can continue doing the blue background. The wings will dry when they have to. We will have to do
the wings don't need to be dry to continue.
Yeah, exactly. The wings don't need to be dry to continue. You just have to dry this blue background, this gesso background first.
Okay, maybe give them like 60 more seconds to play with the feathers, and then we'll continue. Make sure your background there is dry, everyone.
If you have any questions, please do let me know. Okay, so just so you know, because we're still drying it, just make sure your gesso is dry and a little bit of these edges, the feathers on the edge. That is all we need right now. So now I'm taking some of this blue acrylic paint, okay? Next to it, I'm taking out some of this black. Right? And some gesso. Now, we do not have white paint over here, so we are going to work with gesso. Okay? Now, if you have an old brush, because we will be needing like 2 brushes in this process, so I will advise you to keep one brush absolutely dry. Okay, so I'm going to leave this brush dry, and in the meanwhile, I'm going to use one of my other brushes for this process. Okay. Should I continue? Is everyone following me?
I think you can go ahead and continue.
Okay, sure.
We want to make
So
sure
what-
we get through the class.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do is just simply wet this brush very slightly, okay? And take out some of this color. Okay? Now what you need to do is pick up this black, not a lot of it, a little bit. The more black you add, the more, navy this color is going to turn out. So midnight blue kind look I want. So that is why I'm mixing this cobalt blue with black here, because I do not want a very bright blue look. It's completely up to you. If you want a bright look, you can simply paint with this blue. If you want a little bit darker, you can, create, you can mix this black with this blue and create a little midnight blue kind of color. Now I want to lighten this color a little bit. So I'm going to pick up some gesso. This gesso here is going to act as our white paint. So we used it to create textures, we used it to create the wings, and now we are using our gesso as a paint. Okay. So you see how this turns out to be really, a different version. The more you mix, the lighter it's going to turn. So I'm happy with this color. And now what I have to do is just simply paint this blue onto my canvas here. I'm not being very precise. If you feel you're not able to stretch your color a lot, wet your brush very slightly, but be very cautious when you're wetting it, because you do not want to reactivate your gesso at this point. You do not want it to be wet all over again, And when you're near these feathers, just try the stippling kind of motion. Try to stipple it like this. Don't, push the product inside these wings. They are still not completely dry. You might ruin them, right? So I'm just wetting my brush a little to stretch this product, and be very gentle when you're doing it around the wings. If you want to get into the nooks and crannies, do the stippling kind of motion. Just mix in a little bit more of this product. And it is not important to get the same color every time. So yeah, even if you get different variations of blue, it's perfectly okay. Now you can also do one thing when you're coloring when you're adding paints and everything, you can add some washi on this edge, the washi tape, okay? And when you're done, you can rip it off and you will have a very clean edge. So just some tip. Now continue doing this. And while we are doing it, the next tip that I want to give you is this. So the first was inspiration, okay? And the second was about color palettes, right? Now the third thing that I want you to know is about designs. So when you have decided on your inspiration, you're sure you want to create something with some specific color palette, the next thing that is going to be important is to decide on what design you want to go with. Okay, so for that, look at your substrate first. The substrate means, by substrate, I mean the canvas or the bottle or what the book or anything that you want to work on. Okay, so if your substrate has supposedly its length is more than its width, that is, it is in a rectangular shape, okay, what you want to do is, most of the times it is going to work, and what you want to do is create your design in such a manner that it is flowing along the length, right? The design is flowing along the length of that thing. Okay, and if you're working on it, because why do you want to do this? Okay, this is very important to know why you want to do this. It is because when you see something that is longer, it is more on the length than it is on the width, your eyes, our eyes are basically working like in a way in which we concentrate on the length. Our eyes will look out for, our eyes will actually go from up to down and down to up. That is how the brain functions, right? So if you create something that is along the length, your eyes will grasp it and your brain will quickly say, okay, this is perfect. But if you do something that goes widthwise, it will confuse your brain, because your eyes are not trained to go like that. For longer things, the eyes go, from up to down. When you see a long tree, you automatically look up and down. Okay, you don't go sideways. That is not a first response. So this is how the brain functions. Now, there are ways to, overcome this thing as well. And that is by creating certain kind of visual interests in your work. But that is a different thing. And I'm going to tell it to you a little while later. But first, let's complete the design part. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking a little bit more black and I'm adding it to the sides of this painting. I'm mixing it with blue, but this is more like a very deep blue, and I'm just mixing it with on the sides, to create a deeper look on the sides. And near this wing as well. Now this is acrylic paint, guys. It is going to dry really quickly, so you don't have to worry. And to blend it out, just do a little bit of stippling motion like this. Okay, and use your fingers. Okay. So this is how I'm doing the sides. I'm going. First, I covered the whole thing in blue, and now I'm going onto the sides and near the edges of this wing, and on the sides in a little deeper blue or almost black color. Okay. Keep on rotating your canvas as you wish. Just because you don't want to, you just want that your strokes should be all natural and it should be easy for you to work. You just have to rotate your working surface in the way you want, like I'm doing so. So I'm just going to go over these edges in a little bit of darker paint. Okay, so first was when we do designing, we look at how the shape of our substrate. So I told you about the longer version, the rectangular surfaces. Now coming on to square surfaces, now this will work. The long thing I told you, for example, you want to work on a bottle, you want to work on a piece of, you want to work on a tag, or you want to work on anything that's in more in the length than it's in the width. Now coming on to square surfaces, especially like canvases like this or layouts. What you want to do is, if you create a square or circle, this works for both. If you create something that is in the center, okay, you're good to go. Your design is okay, you can go ahead. You do not need to improvise on anything. You do not need to think. But if you create something which, let's say, is close to one of the edges, okay, you want to balance that thing with something on the opposite edge. So let's say you have a whole build-up over here. You have a lot of things going on here. You just want to pick up some elements maybe. Okay, maybe you have a lot of gears and flowers. You just want to pick up some gear, 1 or 2 gears and flowers, and balance it somewhere on this edge so that your eyes do not tip on one side. It is all about how the eyes perceive your artwork. So just make sure that you balance it. Okay, so once you balance that thing, it's perfect. You can go ahead and, it's completely okay. Just try to balance it on the opposite edge. So if your artwork is on this side, balance it on this side. If it is on top, balance it on the bottom. Okay, and the version, a few versions of it, I will show it to you. Like I'm showing it to you for a circle here. My artwork here is mostly concentrated on this half, and I wanted to balance it on the bottom arc on this side. So if I have these small things here, what happens is that this whole heaviness is balanced by this. Now I did not separate them. I just let it flow. I just let my cluster flow to this area. So this is also one way how you can balance your work. So our work here, this thing is done. Just dry it. If you have any white spots, you can always, it's not important, but you can go ahead and, repaint it or cover it again. Are we all good to go? Please let me know. And if you have any questions. At any point in time, if you all feel like you are not able to grasp everything that I'm saying, just let me know and I will maybe make a PDF or something and I will give you all of these points. I will just write them down and give it to you as a download. I don't mind doing that. So yes, my blue background is completely dry. So should I go ahead with the next step?
Jaya, I think some people are still catching up.
Okay, sure. No problems. No problems.
Can I ask you, tell us about the impasto paint? What is,
Yeah, sure.
tell me what this is.
So these are the Impasto paints by Prima. Okay, so these paints are actually heavy body acrylic paints. Okay, by heavy body, we mean that these paints can be built up to create certain textures. Okay, you can use these paints through stencils, especially through stencils directly. Because if you see normal acrylic paints, they are in a little liquidy states. And what you can do with them at max is you can paint with them first. And if you want to create any look with through stencils with them, so what you need to do is you have to use some sort of sponge or maybe a stippling brush and, you know, kind of stipple it. And that will not give you a dimensional look. You will not attain any dimension from it. You may attain, you will get some imprints and something, but no dimension. But this thing, this product here, it will give you a lot of dimension. So you can directly use these paints through stencils. They will not seep inside. You know, it's through with stencils, we all have this problem that products tend to seep inside. This paint will not. So you can use it with stencil. You can dilute it down to make your own paints and use it as a normal acrylic paint. You can build up with this paint to create textures, even through your palette knives, even if you do not want to use stencils. They're just like normal acrylic paints, but very heavily pigmented. Okay, they go a long way. See, I still have so much left. They go a very long way. You can stretch these products. They have a lot of pigment in them. So you can dilute them with your acrylic mediums to create, you know, flowing paints also. So that is about the acrylic paint.
Yeah, I'm definitely struggling a little bit because of how thick the paint is.
Okay, no, you can always, you know, as I told you, just dip your brush in the bottle in water and start to mix it with the product. Because the paint is very thick, you will not be able to stretch it. That is a problem. But then you can always dip your brush in water and then apply it. Then apply it on your board here. Okay, please do that, because otherwise this paint is so thick, it will be a problem to stretch it. But I just want you to be very cautious when you're using water, because we have used gesso here and we do not want to reactivate it right now. That is why I asked you all to, like, you know, use water to a minimum. Like, don't just literally drench your brushes in water. Pick water little by little, go little by little. Okay. Where do we buy them? Barbara, you can buy them anywhere. I think all of the crafting stores around US carry it, especially scrapbook.com. I know they carry it. And if you are not from the US, you can ask your local craft dealers, craft stores to get them for you, right? And they're available, literally available everywhere in the world right now.
Does Anna have them on her site?
Yes, Anna does have them, because this is from her line only.
Right.
The Impasto paint is from Finnabair. Okay.
So you guys do have a coupon code for Anna's site.
Oh, that's great.
If you are not US.
That's great. Anna has all of these products on her site, I'm pretty sure, because these lines, most of these things are from Anna's line only. The metallic acrylic paint, the impasto, gesso, everything. Okay. If you want me to continue, just let me know and I'll continue on to the next step. If not, I can just talk about a few things that I want to.
Can you guys give me a heads up, either raise your hand or somebody in here if you need more time? I try to gauge them so they don't have to stop.
Yeah, exactly.
To type in. It looks like
more time, please. Okay, sure.
So a couple of people are saying, okay, so looks like a few are needing more time. Julie's asking white gesso was mixed with the blue, and you did not.
Gesso was mixed with the blue, Julie, because I have a limited budget here. Okay, I did not want to include another product on the list. I did not want to go over budget. So in place of my white acrylic paint, I utilized gesso. Am I clear? Because it is going to do the same thing. It is going to lighten my paint, acrylic paint. it is going to be the same thing. So maybe a little less white, but then it is going to do the job. That is why I just mixed my white gesso instead of white acrylic paint. But you can always go ahead and mix your acrylic paint, okay? I hope I'm clear.
Yes, I think you answered. Okay, so it looks like some people would like a little more time. So maybe
Yeah,
I
sure.
can ask you, Jaya, how did you get into mixed media and how long have you been doing it?
Okay, so Elena, actually I'm a dentist. Okay, so I studied dentistry. I practiced dentistry for some time, but due to certain reasons, I had to quit dentistry. And during that period in time, I was drawn towards mixed media and paper crafting and stuff like this. And then it just grew on me. And, you know, I enjoyed doing this. I had certain health issues also, so I did not want to go back. And because they were just aggravating my health problems. So I kept on doing this, and I got so, engrossed in it that I just, I think I started with mixed media and paper crafting in 2014. And in 2016, when I got onto the Prima design team, it was like, okay, now I have to do it. I enjoy doing this. So I was like, let's just stick to this thing, right? This is how I got into it. There's no, I do not have any degree, any background in arts or anything. Whatever I've learned through my own experiences, through YouTube videos. There is so much content out there nowadays. So whatever I've learned through my own practice, through my own failures. Even this canvas was not made on the first try. I did have to like do it like, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to get the one that I wanted it. You know, sometimes there were issues with colors, sometimes there was issues with the design. So that is how I do my work. I still do it, as everyone struggles. It's a journey, so let's enjoy this journey, right? I'm still learning, actually, Alina. I do not consider myself to be a professional. I am still learning, and someday I would love to join an art school if it's on the cards. I don't know what future has in hold for me, but yes.
So the wings are not supposed to be dry just yet, right? Just to clarify.
Excuse me?
The wings are not supposed to be dry just yet, right? Just to clarify.
No. The wings will keep on drying.
Okay.
Actually, they will take a lot of time to dry. So we are not just playing around with the wings right now. I will leave that to the end. I will do some prep work after this.
Perfect.
Okay.
Also,
so
I wanted to, let's see, Mindy asked, she's never used the products. If we mix gesso and texture powder and have some left, can it be kept to use at a later date?
Just put, if you have a bottle, Mindy, if you have a bottle, just put it inside that bottle, okay, and use a cling wrap on top and bottle it up very tightly. In most cases, it is going to be perfectly fine. Okay, you can reuse it. Okay, in case it dries out, you can always try to use some acrylic medium in it. If you have, of course, a lot of product left, you can try and mix in some water or some acrylic medium, and it will get restored. If not, then of course you will have to throw it away, but this is how you will store it. If you have a lot left, take a bottle, put it inside that bottle, seal it with a cling wrap, and then tie the lid. Okay, that is how you do it.
And then Regina, she's so funny. She said, well, gesso
yeah,
face.
So, I read that. maybe. Quite possible.
This is how you got into it, Jaya. You didn't realize.
I didn't realize that.
So funny.
Really, actually.
This canvas is turning out beautiful. Is it okay? What before doing it, can you tell us what your next step is? Don't actually.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So the next step that I'm going to do is I am going to highlight these cracks here. Okay. We will make these cracks. I'll just show it to you in the space. These cracks. Okay. So how these cracks are going to be made is, first step will be using our palette knife and our bronze paint. With that, what we will be doing is, I'm going to do it here, okay? we will just be creating certain short strokes like this, something like this, very small strokes. Just try to do it. No issues. If you cannot, just try to do it on some any scrap piece of paper. Just use the product put the product near the tip. The more product you put near the tip, see, one thing you should know, whatever product is on this area of the palette knife, you cannot use it, because you cannot work with this product, because you will not be able to get good contact with the surface with this area. So when you have product on the tip of this palette knife, you can work with it, because that is the area that is bendable. Okay, so what you do is take product near the tip and do this. Short strokes, short buttering strokes like this. This is what we are going to do. Now we'll do this with bronze. We will dry the bronze. Then we will do it with the white texture paste once again, the gesso and texture powder paste once again. Then we will dry it. Okay, and then we will add the final gesso layer. So that will give us layers of broken textures. Can you see? We have bronze in here. We have this textures here, and then the whites here. So that will give you layers, okay? And that is what we are going to do. But if everyone will give me a go ahead, I'll start then.
Yeah, I love that you just gave them a little bit of, step by step to kind of prepare them.
Yeah, exactly. If someone's just waiting on, then they can just try this. No, create short.
Yeah, just show them again.
Just try this out. Take product on the tip and do this. Up and down, just this. Okay, and in the meanwhile, I'll just let you know, I told you that if you're designing something on a longer platform, something like where you have to, where I told you the eyes will want to go up and down. So you want to create a flow, a design that goes up and down, like it's more on the length than it is on the width. So if you do not want to do that, okay, and you are like, okay, I don't want to create a design that's long, in the longer, it flows long. So there are tricks to, create interest in your project. And one of those tricks is what we've used here. If you can see, I have actually color blocked this canvas. Have a look. This area is white and this is more in deeper navy color, right? So this is color blocking, in which you divide your artwork into two separate and contrasting kind of colors. So that gives your eyes some visual interest. This is very much in trend, I think, in clothes these days, color blocking, right? And it just creates a lot of visual interest. So you can try this kind of technique in your artwork. Try color blocking with, contrasting colors or something like that, and play around.
I love it. Thank you, Jaya. Okay, I think we can go ahead and move forward.
Okay.
And
sure.
Don't worry,
okay.
You have the recording, so please don't panic if you're still working. Thank you, Jaya.
Exactly. So now we want to do is just take your product on the back, this metallic acrylic paint. Now this acrylic paint is not that thick. Okay, so when you're working with this, just have some controlled movements. Okay, now what I'm going to do is taking the little product on the back of the working surface, this is the working surface. And what I'm going to do is just simply, this was the line that I drew for the cracks. So I'm just going to follow that our line and just pull it up, push it down. Take some more product, pull it up, push it down. Some more product. Just try to create kind of a, flow with it, that outline with it. Just want to go a little bit off the side. And Once you're done on one side, do the same on this edge as well. And there is no right or wrong. Okay, so if you like mess like this as I messed it up, do not worry, please. Just let it dry. Just clean my palette knife because, okay, some on the tip and just lightly keep doing this. Okay. You need to heat dry this bronze area, okay? And while you're doing it, you can also, keep on heat drying your wings at the same time.
Is anyone in full panic attack, or are you guys?
Please let me know.
Okay. What the
Let
heck?
me know, please. Yes. Any questions thus far, please?
I think they're good, Jaya.
Great. Okay. Now the next step with this is take a little bit of more gesso and create the same kind of texture base that we created for the wings. If you have a little bit left over and it feels a little dry, just mix some gesso in it and it will be good to go. Make sure you clean your palette knife after using the bronze paint. Otherwise, it is going to tint your paste.
Jaya, can you say that again, what you're doing there?
Yeah, so this, I am creating a paste, just what I created for the wings, okay? So I'm mixing gesso and our texture powder. Okay, similarly, just like the way I did it for the wings, just the same thing. You can go a little lighter on the texture powder in this case. We don't need it that thick, but yeah, a similar version. Okay. Now make sure your bronze color is dry before you do this. It does not need to be like completely dry, but yeah, it should be like, if you place your hand like so, it should not just totally transfer on your hand. It should be like dry to touch. Okay, so now once that is done and your product has been mixed, you need to simply repeat the same thing, exactly the same way. Okay, the same way you apply the bronze, the same way you have to apply this product as well. But just see how I'm doing it. So now I have some product on my on the back, and I'm going to do the same thing. I place the product and move my palette knife upwards. Okay, and I just try to sweep it onto the bronze like this. I'm not trying to cover the entire bronze. I'm just trying to, how should I say, create a layer on top of another layer, right? And at some places, you can try to build it up like this. Just putting it really close for you all to see. So what I'm doing here is placing the product, moving my knife up, and just trying to cover it a little bit. This is what is going to, when we will add shadows in here, it is going to look like as if it is broken. You see, and you can try to pull the product down in certain areas if you want. That is completely up to you. The look you want is completely up to you. I like to show the bronze in some places, and then I like to hide it in some places. So that is all the bronze that is going to show in my canvas on this side. Okay. Can you repeat this step? Please let me know which step are you referring to, the bronze and this texture paste one?
No, I think it was mixing. You're good.
Okay. So once again, I'm going to show it to you on this side. Now, similarly, just as we did for the bronze paint, we are doing it for our paste here. Okay, this is building layer on top of another layer. Okay, this blue background was like our layer on top of the gesso. Okay, now we have built up this bronze layer on top of the blue layer. Now we are building up another layer on top of the bronze layer. It's basically layering, just like you would layer your clothes. It's like layering of products. So now just take your product on the back of your palette knife and do the same thing you did over there. Sweep it up and try to pull some product down. Take product on the back of your knife, sweep it up, and try to pull some back, downwards, up and down. The more imperfections in this texture paste, the more details you're going to get. So don't worry about smoothing it at all. Up and down. Okay. Scraping some of that is left and down. Let's just scrape everything one last time. Up, down. Just trying to bring it more wherever I feel the bronze is showing a lot. Okay, you can see that I have not worried about creating very plain, very uniform layer. It has a lot of textures. Okay, scrape some if you have. Over here, doesn't matter. That is all. Okay. Are we good? Now I'm drying it, okay? Now, I just want to talk about the quote that actually inspired me to create this project. And that quote was something like this. She made broken look beautiful and strong look invincible. She walked with universe on her shoulders and made it look like a pair of wings. So this was the quote that actually inspired me. And you can see that in this quote, okay, there are words like broken and strong and, invincible. So these words are more like which goes in on, if you want to translate them to artwork. So this is what broken would look like, right? And I have included gears in our work. I've included a lot of textures over here. So they signify the words like strong and invincible, because they are like the grunge kind of, when you go when you want to translate certain things into art form, these are what describe that kind of feeling, the gears and stuff like that. And plus this quote had words like beautiful, so that is why I incorporated those flowers, because that adds to the softness. And whenever you're working with certain inspirations with quotes or certain things like this, just try and see how that can be translated into an artwork. Now we just want this texture paste to be dry to touch, so that we can add the third layer, which is completely gesso. And this is not that dimensional, so it should dry very quickly. Okay. And now we will come on to our third layer, which is just plain gesso. And we are going to do exactly the same process once again. Exactly the same thing. Or let's wait it out. Let's not add the gesso right now. What we can do is start doing some prep work, okay? So I think you all have this chipboard here. Flowers, right? So now what you need to do, it's very simple, you guys. You don't need to worry about it a lot. You just need to paint these chipboards. That's it. To start with a clean brush. I hope you have lots of water with you. Whenever you are using water in any of your works, have 2 jars of clean water. The first rinse that you do should be in one jar and the final rinse should be in the other, so that you do not have any paint left on your just a tip. If you do not want to run, change, if you do not want to go out and change your water again and again, that is how I like to do it. So now what I will do is just simply paint on this chipboard and let that thing dry for the time being. Let's just paint. Okay. So I am painting only those chipboards that I'm going to use, but you can go ahead and paint them all if you want. If you want to incorporate a little bit more than I did, you can do that too. And for adding details, one of the best things that I like to use is some art stones. If you have art stones, I do not have them in my kit, but if you do have art stones, you can always go ahead and add those. I'll let you know how to add art stones too. But just a quick heads up, if you want to, bring your bottle of art stones. For those who do not know what art stones are, they are tiny balls. I'll just show you. There's something like this. Okay. These tiny little things, these are art stones. That is just something that you can do if you want. It's nothing important. About textures, a lot of us feel like, oh my God, I have to add some texture here, some texture there. But let me tell you, texture is basically one thing, okay, that you can literally add at any point in time in your work. Any point in time. You can add it in the starting of your work and you can literally add it at the end of your work. So you do not have to worry about texture at all. In fact, texture has been seen to be one of the easiest things to attain in an artwork. It is one of the easiest things. A lot of us get overwhelmed with textures, but do not be overwhelmed with textures. Just concentrate on your inspiration or your color palette, then go on to your design. Okay, and then think about your composition and everything. And textures you can add any time. Anything as simple as creating lots of strokes with your palette knife can create textures for you, right? So just do not get overwhelmed with textures. And the next thing that you need to remember is that when it comes to textures, you do not want to do a lot of it, right? Because it is very easy, for a beginner or for someone who has little bit less knowledge of art to, get overwhelmed with textures and create a lot of textures everywhere. Now, as this piece goes, for this piece, you can see I have a lot of texture going on the bottom side, but I kept it I did not want to highlight it on the top, right? And the reason for it is because just imagine you're in a living room. Just let us take a real life example for this. Imagine you're in a living room. You have hardwood floors. You have wool throw, you have a leather couch, you have a velvet sofa or an armchair, you have raffia going on there, then you have macrame on the wall, and then you have satin curtains. This place is literally confused because there is a lot going on in here. You have a lot of textures. There's satin, there's wool, there is leather, there's velvet, there is cane, there is raffia, there is wooden hardwood floors, and everything is going on. So this is confusion, and it is very easy for a beginner to do it. So when you're doing your work, just be sure that you do not have a lot of texture everywhere, because your eyes will want a relief from it. So if you have texture in some areas, try to avoid highlighting the textures in other areas. Give some breathing space to your work. Okay, give some breathing space to your art so that it can breathe, and the person who is looking at your work can actually appreciate those textures that you have given. If you have a lot of textures going on, person will start to find ways to get relief. Okay, the eyes will try to find ways to get relief. So to make sure that whatever textures you've given are appreciated, you have to make sure you give some relief. And the relief in our case is this white area. Because all of this is so much texture, this is the relief that we. Are we painting all the pieces with the brass? Yes, we are painting these chipboard pieces with brass. And I have painted only the ones that I'm going to use. You can always go ahead and paint everything if you want to use a lot of them in our work. And the next thing that I'm going to do is, this is my hot glue gun, okay? Now what I'm going to do on this glue for this is, I'm going to create some pebbles. Now, if you have the Melange Art Pebbles by Finnabair, I know, I think many of you must be having it in your kit. You can use those. You can, no need to waste your hot glue. But if you do not have it in your kit, like I did not have it in my kit, so I made my own pebbles, and this is how you're going to do it. Okay, so I have my, you can take any surface you feel that hot glue will not stick to. You can also do it on the back of this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this. Just, okay, my hot glue gun is a little bit frustrating, but yeah. Just do, without moving your hot glue gun, keep on dripping some glue. And there we go, we have a small pebble out there. Okay, if you do not have the Melange Art Pebbles, this is what you can do. And you can control the size to as large or as small as you want. Okay. They may not be all exactly circular, but I'm pretty sure if you try them out, you can get a good circular ones. So you see, I'm not moving my hot glue gun. I have my handle here. It is resting on the surface so that I do not have to worry about my hand shaking. Okay, so it is resting on the surface, and I'm just literally going to press the nozzle to take out as much or as little hot glue I want. Okay, so you're going to get good domes out of this. Now, this is just a quick saving tip, you guys, because I did a lot of crafting when I was on a budget, and I have a lot of tips and tricks for you if you want to do your crafting on a budget. But yeah. Okay, see how I'm creating smaller ones here? These are just with the help of this handle. I'm resting it on its, this, whatever it is called, I do not know the name. This platform here, I'm resting it over here. And this is helping me with the shaking of my hand. Now that it is resting, I'm going to press the nozzle slightly, very slightly, and create smaller domes like this. If you want bigger domes, press it very properly. Oh, thank you so much. Are we painting all the pieces? Yeah. Okay. So create as many or as little as you want. And if your hot glue has strings, just keep on swirling it like this and remove it. Okay. Now let this dry. Please make sure you do not touch this. This is going to be very, very hot, and you don't want to touch it. Okay. Just make sure you don't touch it. Now, next thing that we are going to do it. If you've done it, this is all prep work. Okay. Now, once again, I'm mixing some gesso with black paint to create a gray color.
Okay, who touched the hot glue? I know one of you did it.
Oh my God. Did someone?
Kidding, I'm just joking.
Oh my God. Elena, I have had like disastrous hot glue incidents. I have had marks, you can see here. Now, yeah. This is all hot glue, and I am really scared of hot glue, I should say. So I do not want anyone to please touch these things, right? It's really scary.
You got this. Okay, let's see. Just a couple questions here.
Yeah, sure.
What are we supposed to have in our kit that she's making out of hot glue? So it's not anything in your kit.
No,
She's
it's not.
making pebbles. It's really cool. What a great little technique.
Thank you, Alina.
Jaya,
It is.
can we show them on the canvas? Do you have some on your canvas so you can
Yeah,
show?
sure.
I love
So
where you
when I will color it, okay, this is how it is going to look, right? I will, you just need to color it to make it look like, the Melange Art Pebbles by Prima. That is basically a product by Prima. And I think, Elena, was it in Anna's class, Anna's kit?
Yes, but they probably used most of them.
Oh, okay.
So,
no problems, guys. No problems.
So creative. This is perfect.
Thank you. So if you've used it up, no problems. It is called the Melange Art Pebbles by Prima. And they are basically small, round, half semicircular domes, clear glass domes. Okay, so we do not have it in our kit, but I wanted to include them, so I came up with this hack basically. So you can use, create your own pebbles anytime you want.
It is such a good idea, and I didn't realize you. I forget you can paint on just about anything. So this is wonderful.
Absolutely wonderful, actually. So if you've done this, you just need to let it dry. You do not have to touch it. And in the meanwhile, you can just, color this green with gray paint. And how I made this gray paint was just mix some black impasto paint with white gesso. Once again, we are using our gesso as a paint. Oh, you guys are lucky you got the show Bonder glue guns. I have this one, I don't know. But yeah. The show Bonder one is absolutely awesome.
And you guys, SureBonder, thank you, SureBonder, but there is a coupon code in your coupons list. If anyone didn't get the list of coupons, because they are so great, it's like Marvi gave 25% off of their whole website, even their clearance. So please go on and use those because some of them do expire. And SureBonder did give a coupon code. So go in and say thank you to our sponsors and tag them in your posts as well.
Elena, will the SureBonder coupon code work on the SureBonder site, or will it also work on Amazon?
No, I think it's just on their site. I know there's always shipping to deal with. I go to Amazon first also.
Yeah, it's just only because I think Amazon just ships a little bit faster. Otherwise, there is no issue. If you do not have anything urgent, you can always go on the SureBonder site, right? And because once you buy it from the site, I think the returns and everything is less of a hassle.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Because when you get it from Amazon, I know Amazon is also less of a hassle, but sometimes they are like, they do not take guarantee for third-party sellers sometimes, I think.
Yeah, you have to read those fine prints.
Exactly, the fine lines, right? So right now, guys, I'm just changing the color of my this wine here, the green in this wine to gray. Okay, because the color palette that I am going with is like midnight blue, blue, gray, white, and bronze. So I do not want this green. That is why I'm just changing the color. That is something that you can always do. And leaves do not always have to be green. They can be any color you want.
Julie is asking what goes on after the copper. Which point are you at, Julie? Are you on the copper on top?
The cracks? Or cracks? Okay, so after the copper, you just need to make a paste, okay, of gesso and texture powder, similar to the one that we've made here for the wings, okay? And after the copper, once the copper is dry to touch, you just need to do the same thing with that paste, just up and down, and just lightly cover copper and just follow the same flow that you did for the copper thing, and just do the same motions lightly show your coppers at some places, just hide it completely, maybe show a little bit of it, and do it on all of these over here and on this area. This and this, and the exact same motion. Place it up and then pull it down. Place it up, push it up, pull it down. Okay. I do understand that some people will find it a little bit, hard to just, because might be that they are dealing with pellet knife and stuff like this for the first time. So even if it is, just go at your own pace. This is a recorded class. You can always, pause it, come back to it, pause it and repeat it. Keep on repeating it until and unless you understand it, until and unless you get it right. So do not worry if you are not able to do it along with me. Of course, I'm always available. If you feel that you have any questions, you can always drop me a message. But please do not worry if you're not able. Do not hurry. I'm ready to stop for a while if you want. Okay. So that is it. I have just simply colored all the green areas in gray. Keep on cleaning your brush. I'm just snipping off some of these sepals from the flowers that are showing through, because I do not want to go, very close to the flowers with the gray color. I do not want to dirty my flowers. So I'm just going to cut these green sepals if I think that they are showing a lot. Not a lot, just a couple of them are showing. So it's a very quick thing to do. Okay. I suppose everyone's hot glue drops should be dry by now. So now what I'm going to do next is just simply put your finger inside your bottle. Not a lot, only the, what do we say? This is the, whatever, just like this. Okay, so just do this and press it on your domes. Just a simple way to apply it rather than using a brush. You can just quickly do this. If you want to use your brush, please go ahead and use that if you do not want to dirty your fingers. All right. So this is how we prepared our vine here. I simply colored it, colored all the greens in this shade of, what do we say? In this shade of gray. all of the green parts in gray, and the pink is just as it is. I cut out all of those green sepals that were just showing, not the other ones. Do not worry about everything, only the ones that were showing. Now, I added bronze paint on the chipboard that I was using. I'm going to use only those chipboards I've colored. It is up to you if you want to use more chipboards and you want to create a more, dense cluster, then you can use other chipboards as well. But I'm giving you an idea of what I am going to use here. Okay. And the last thing in preparation that we did was I used my hot glue gun and I rested it on this platform and just pressed it to create bubbles, domes. Just simply press it in one position and you will have a dome. So that is what we did. And once this is completely dry to touch, okay, only then go ahead, dip your finger in paint and tap it on top, and it will be colored in this beautiful bronze color. Now, all of these paints that we have used thus far are all by Prima Finnabair line. So you can get these in Finn's shop. If you've done this on any paper, if you've taken out this, these pebbles on any sheet of paper, you can just simply cut around the edge. Just let this paint dry. We'll do this. Are we done so far? Now the next thing is creating some, before adding that gesso, that final layer of gesso, I want to create some, shadows in this area. Okay, so that I will be doing with some watered down black impasto paint. So simply just whatever color, whatever black paint was left after you did the prep work with the flowers, what you need to do is just simply, water down that color, water down that black color, like really watery. See, it's really, really watery. This watery, okay? Water down that color and add it over here and here. So when you're ready, just let me know. Did you paint the back of the roses gray? No, I did not. No, I did not. If you touch those with gray, yeah, it is mulberry paper, and it will literally, soak up. Even the leaves of the flowers will soak up all of that color, and you will be left with, dirty flowers. I'll just show it to you here. Somehow this flower leaf, this petal touched some gray and it's turned gray. I don't want that. I just want the leaves to be gray. So the back of these flowers is still green. Okay. Exactly. The finger as a tool is really great. It's free and it works best. So I'll just remove all of these pebbles from here. Let me know if you all are ready to start. What do we do if we hit some petals with gray? No problem. Just let it dry right now. Okay. Because later on, what we will do is we will add some gesso on the petals. And once again, even if you hit it with gray, it is not a problem. It is, I have also got some gray in some of the petals. It's absolutely not a problem. You do not have to have all, everything perfect in your art. Just do not worry about things like this. It is completely okay to have, gray flowers, no problems. See, whatever I'm teaching you today, whatever you guys are learning, you just have to make sure that you know about all of this stuff. It is not important that you follow everything, right? You just have to know about these things so that when you find yourself stuck at some point, you know that you can go back to color palettes. Okay, if you feel that, okay, my colors are not looking nice, something is going weird here, right? You can go back to color palettes. Something that you do not know, something that you have no idea about, you can never go to that thing for rescue, right? So you have to be aware of what all is things can work to your advantage, so that you know that these are the options. And then the decision to use it or not use it is completely up to you. So that is why I'm just telling you these things. You want to use this or you do not want to use it is completely up to you. My glue dots. If you have, what have you used? Have you used like a paper or something? If you have used a paper or something, then what you can do is just simply cut around the glue drops. Just cut around the glue drops, let them have that backing. Used my, oh. So, do you have something really sharp, like maybe sharp edged, do you like have a paper cutter or something? Mine is broke here, so I cannot show it to you, but this is how a paper cutter, if you have a knife, it is good, but my knife is in my kitchen, so I cannot bring it here, but I'm going to show you, it's going to work similarly. Just simply keep on, so this is how it is going to come out. So I just angle the knife and just scrape it out. Angle the knife downwards. So should I start? Just let me know.
Sandra said she would like to see the flowers again, please.
Okay, these flowers. So the leaves have been just colored with gray, and the gray was made using white gesso and black impasto paint. The leaves and this twig here. It is just because I did not want the green to show through. It was not in my color palette here, so I just switched it to gray. Okay. If you are if you think that if you can make glue drops directly onto the board, then just wait till the end. Okay, when we have all of everything formed, let me show. When you have all of that cluster, you can just simply go down and just put that glue drops directly where it is required. You don't worry about it. If you feel that you can do it directly on the board, that is also one way to do it if you want. So let me know if I should start with the next step. So now everything is like completely dry over here. Okay, our wings and everything. So the next step that we want to do is create a watered down version of this black paint. Okay. What are we doing with the glue on the board? Missed that step, I was late. Okay, so the glue, actually, I used it to make glue drops like this, these semicircular glue drops. And that all you need to do is just simply rest your glue gun on the on whatever surface you want to make these pebbles, and just literally rest it and press the glue gun like this. Okay, and it will form a dome-like shape. Okay, this is all that you need to do to create domes. Now, some people are having issues in taking it out of the surface that they have done it on. So the best thing that you can do for it is either use a very impervious surface like I've used glass or something, or if you're using paper, what you can do is just simply cut around when it's completely dry and everything. Just simply cut around that glue drop, cut the paper around that glue drop, and you will have pebbles with paper as a base. Okay, now the third thing that you can do is, if you're very confident you can nail it, you can simply do it at the very end. After assembling our canvas here, you can do it at the very end in the places where we need it. Yeah, wax paper. Thank you for telling that. I don't have wax paper, guys. So wax paper should work I suppose it should work very nicely.
Jaya, I'm sorry, I had an emergency call, so I was missing everything, but you're doing so good. I just want to tell people, so if you have Silpat, that works excellent. If you have silicone sheet, those are great. Nancy said wax paper. Does wax paper work with hot glue? I'm not so sure.
I'm not sure, but I've not tried it, but I have tried glass. It does take a little bit of effort to remove it from glass, but yes, silicone works perfectly. Silicone pad, if you have it.
Or Silpat. But here's what I was going to tell you too. If you do it on a piece of paper or wax paper or whatever, you're not going to see the bottom. You can just cut around it, rip it off. Yeah. Could you do it on flat areas of molds? Yes, that would be absolutely perfect.
Silicone molds, perfect. Yes, just reverse them and put it on the silicone molds.
I think it's such a very creative technique that you created such a creative technique. It's so fun.
Necessity is the mother of invention, Alina.
Absolutely, I get it. Let's see. So right now you were doing the flowers. Could you please hold up your final piece? I don't want to come on camera. It's easier if you do it, so they can kind of see the flower placement one more time, just to show them where the flowers are going on your final piece.
Okay, the final piece. Okay,
yes,
sure.
It gives them a little perspective. There you go.
So these are the flowers. Okay, now what I've done here is I have gotten rid of this area of this flower. I've just trimmed it off, and I have shaped it in such a way that it looks like a triangle. Okay, so this is the stem. I have just shaped it like this. Can you see that? And then I have designed it like so. We will be learning about it, but just for you to see how it is going to go on the piece here. Right? I did get rid of a couple of flowers, I think. Yeah, maybe one flower, not much. So should I start the next step?
Let's see if people are ready. Jaya, maybe I can come on and show your piece here because it's a teeny bit different.
Yeah, sure.
That way people can have some variations. Let me
exactly
show them. Hold on, you guys. I'll show you what. Hold on. Okay. Can you see this one? She used, I think you used less flowers on this one.
Less flowers. Yeah. See, this is the trio. Okay. After that, I've used this piece, right?
So that way they can see a little bit of the variation. It does not have to be exactly what she's done.
Exactly.
Please create your own version of this, but that's kind of her design. Okay, does that help? Okay, I think they're ready, Jaya. Go ahead and move on.
Okay, thank you so much, Lena. So the next step, as I told you, we have to have some watered down black paint, okay? And for this, what you need to do is, now you have a very drenched brush, okay? This has a lot of watered down black paint. Now just simply do this. Paint on these areas. Don't go too overboard. Just keep yourself limited, okay? Simply do this. And similarly, do the same thing over here. Please do not go cover the entire this surface. I'm just doing it towards the edge, okay? Like this. And if you want, you can just blend this out. Now, once you've done that, do it near the wings as well. This black paint. A little bit near the wings, on the edge of the wings, just like this. Okay. Now clean your brush. And if you have a paper towel, I hope everyone has a paper towel here. What you need to do is just roll up some paper towel like this. And wipe off some of that paint. Not from this area, just on the areas here. Even if you do not do this, it's not a problem, but I just wanted to let you know that. And now what you need to do is just clean off these really harsh lines on the top of this texture paste here. Okay. And now simply heat dry this. Yes, please do not use this brush. I will be needing a very dry brush in the later part of this process. So you need to have any one brush that is completely dry. Okay. It can be any brush. You can use this brush for this process that we are doing right now, and then later on have a very dry brush similar to this brush, and then you can do the process in the with that dry brush. So any brush will do, but we need one dry brush. Now you see how immediately after adding this black, we've attained such gorgeous details in these places, right? Now this is because these places, these areas had, the black literally seeped into the trough, right? The trough, the details. So it's picking up on, it's adding shadows to your work in those areas. Basically, the idea is because in nature, in real life, whenever you see anything, like if you're just looking in front of you, and you have either the sun or an artificial source of light, what happens is it hits certain areas. Okay, the light hits certain areas, and they appear to be bright. Okay, and the areas that the light is not able to hit are the ones that appear to be dark. So in real life, the artificial light or the sunlight actually creates the illusion of highlights and shadows, or depth and or raised areas and deeper areas. But in art, we cannot attain it. So we in art, you have to attain it artificially, and we do it by using deeper shades and lighter shades. So this black is going to add shadows to our work, and the whites that we will be using will add highlights to our work. Okay. I'm just telling you the reason behind every process. So you know why you're doing it. Not just that you're doing it, but also why you are doing it, right? Now, as I told you, the last step would be adding a layer of gesso, the third layer, which will be the final layer for this crack effect. So what you need to do is, once this is going to dry like super fast, it's going to dry super fast. So finally take the gesso I asked you to take. This is just some plain gesso, okay? Absolutely plain gesso. And just what you did with these, the bronze and the texture paste layer, just do that same thing once again. And now this time you have to go on top of that, all of these two layers that are underneath, such that some of it shows, some of it don't, you know?
Jaya, I just want to let you know we are at 11:30.
Yes,
so
exactly.
We have an hour. And so everyone, if you can let her just continue so we can make sure and get this finished in time. How do you feel, Jaya? I know it's mostly just assembly.
Exactly. It's mostly just assembly. And I'm confident I can do it. Not a lot is left. Yeah.
No problem.
But let's just, because we need our other teacher to start in time. So I just do not want to, be a lot late. If you guys have any problems, if it's something that you can just, take care of it, let's just complete it, right?
Yes, go ahead and continue. Hitomi is answering questions. She's paying attention diligently.
Okay.
Michelle, right now she's using white gesso. Anytime she's using white, it's the white gesso.
It's the white gesso, just plain white gesso, nothing else. Okay, I'm just cleaning my palette knife here, and just need a little bit of gesso on this area. Okay, just going to blend it out with my fingers now. Just make sure your fingers are clean. You do not want any paint over on this side. Just blend it, okay? And now just let's give it a very quick dry. Okay, so it's relatively dry, but I do not have to handle that area right now. So I'm just going to let it dry on its own. Now, what I have on my palette now is this blue impasto paint, black and white gesso once again. Okay, now this what is it? Okay, the wing is completely dry now, so we can go ahead and color it, right? So now what I have in mind is color it in shades of gray and whitish gray on this area, add a little bit of blue on this area, and then go with deeper blues and blacks over here. Okay, and this ridge, I'm going to highlight it with bronze. So once again, grays and whitish grays on all of these wings here, some little very light shades of blue on this area, and very deep blues to black in this area. The ridge is going to be bronze. So let's create these paints. Okay, so my gray, for the gray part, I took up a little bit of this blue. Now taking black. You do not want a very deep gray. I totally forgot I picked up my Prima brush here. No problems. You should have one dry brush, guys. Please do not use. Okay, so be very gentle when you're doing this in this area. Pick up some water, and this is kind of bluish gray. Okay, now I'm picking up some white here and adding it directly. Just create, different colors of the same shade, different shades of the same color. And when you're painting on these feathers, just make sure you're very light-handed. You're not rough. You're not applying pressure. Okay? If it goes outside a little, do not worry.
So you didn't have to wet the brush?
No, I am wetting. Okay, I'll just show it to you. Here is my water. Okay, I am wetting the brush a little, just a little, not a lot. I'm just dipping the tip.
Just so it moves.
Yeah, just so it's a little loose.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So now let's just create, shades of this gray, blues and pinks. And now once I feel that, okay, I have enough gray, I'm just going to go and mix in some blue in this gray. Okay, so now this is going to be a bluish gray color. And that I'm going to now apply over here. Dip your paintbrush once again in a little bit of water and keep on doing this. Be very gentle when you're doing it, because these areas are not 100% dry. They do take like 24 hours to dry, like completely, but they are workable right now. So you can work on them, but just make sure you're not very aggressive. And don't worry if your colors are not coming out absolutely like mine. They don't need to, because even my colors are like not exactly the same as they were in the last painting. So just play around with these colors. Okay, now I have like shades of grays and grayish blue. Now what I'm going to do is take this black and create a little deeper black kind of color, this deeper gray with a little bit of blue, maybe. Yeah, very blackish blue, and use it in this area. So you see how just with one, 2 or 3 colors, you have so much scope, can create so many colors, right? Now that I have a basic idea of how the colors are looking, I'm just going to dry it completely. If you all have any questions, is this dry brush? No, this is not dry. I am adding a little bit of water every time I'm painting on it, but you do have to be very careful with the amount of water you are adding, just because this is not 100% dry. It takes like almost 24 hours to dry it completely.
I love the way those colors are coming out. It's so beautiful. And I love learning your process.
Thank you, Lena. And okay, so now I am like happy with how it is. I do want a little bit of maybe a little different shade here. You can always do that. There is no right or wrong. So I'm just going to add some white over here. Let's see how this works. It just lightens it a little bit, okay? Now, if supposedly you want a little deeper and darker shade over here, just go in with a little bit of black, okay? Just black is very, this is like impasto paint has a lot of pigment. So whenever you are using the black color, okay, just make sure, you take a very small amount of it. And what I am doing here is, I have this wet brush. I'm just picking up the color with the tip, okay? You see how it is? And now what I'll do is I'll just water this down and put it over here.
So you're not using a dry brush. You are using a wet brush.
This is wet.
And it's not
This is
going to affect it because you put the texture paste in it or the texture powder. Is that why it's not breaking it down?
It's not going to break down if you are not going to be aggressive with it, okay? You have to be very soft with your brush movements. Just literally drop the water over there. And it is going to seep through in all of these areas, right? Just drop your brush, the color with your brush. And it is going to seep through, okay? Now you can dry this completely once again. So I added a little bit of white. It's not showing very properly. Let me add a little bit more. It is just about how you want it to look like. You can have different shades if you want, maybe even lighter gray, right? Let's go with a very light gray. Let's see how light gray is going to look here. Okay. So now if you are done with this, you just need to make sure that it is completely dry. And now you will need your dry brush. Okay. So now let's get started with the dry brush. Now this is my dry brush. If your brush is dry or not, you can just test it like this, whether it's feeling a little, wet or not. So mine is completely dry now. And what I will do is, I am going to I'll just remove this. Okay. So this is my gesso. Just make sure you have it. It's completely white. Now what you need to do is, you can do this on any scrap piece of paper. I'm doing it on the back of my hand. So what I like to do is take this gesso, put it on the tip of my brush here, and do this. Okay. What this helps in doing is, it distributes this gesso evenly on my brush, and it is not in bulk anywhere. Now, because we have done this background with really light, the textures are very faint in here. So what happens is that you need a very light feather-like touch, just literally try to brush it like this, as you would maybe go on with your blush. Okay, when you're applying blush, if you just want feather-like movements, right? So that is what we are aiming for here. So take some gesso on the tip, just blend all of that product on the back of your hand and start doing this. Circular movements, circular movements. Product and keep on doing these circular movements. Very feather-like touch, guys. Now, first we'll do it with the wings, okay? When our wings are completely done, then slowly and gradually go to the background. So now this technique is creating highlights for you. That technique where we added the black, watered down black impasto paint to the cracks was creating shadows for you. This technique is creating highlights for you. Now I am doing the feathers with this brush first because I want the brush to catch all those tiny details. Okay, all of those small grains that were created because of the texture paste. Okay, now that I know that this area is done, I'll leave it. Now I want to do is take this brush, start moving it like this and go on to your, this area. What do we say? The background, the blue background. And keep on repeating these circular motions. And you will see that all of those textures that you had created with your gesso will come to life now. The trick to doing it is having very less product on your brush, because this is such a subtle texture that if you have a lot of product, you might not get good effect. This is such a subtle texture, guys. Okay. Are we good? Yes, this is completely dry, Regina. Completely dry. The dry brush that I was asking you to save for the end part, this is the reason why. Because if this brush is a little wet, you will not get the same result. So now I just, messed up this board a little. Maybe I used some gesso. There was some gesso on my finger, but do not worry about it. It's okay. Now, circular motions is the trick. Go on in circles, quick circles. Please do not worry if your brush is going to be ruined. It is not going to be ruined. Okay. Just do this, remove the extra product, and go about in circles. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, so now we have highlighted those textures. Can you see that? All of those textures are now highlighted wonderfully. Now what I'm going to do is just take some gesso on the tip of my finger, because everything is in the same range of highlight. These areas are a lot more raised than these areas, right? So what I'm going to do is add some white, take gesso, do like this, right? And do this. Now, guys, you can easily do this thing with waxes if you have waxes. But just to let you know, you don't need waxes to create art, or you just need some basic things. If you do not have waxes right now, you can go ahead and do it with your gesso. So do this. Why am I doing? Because this wing needs to, the raised part in the wings, I want it to be a little bit more highlighted than the background texture, because it is more raised. Definitely it should be catching more light, right? It's just basic science. Just hit the areas that are really raised, okay? There we go. Right? Now, if you have some gesso left, wash your brush completely. And water down this gesso. Water it down sharply. And what you need to do is take your brush like this, your spatula like this. I'm going to show it to you on where do I show? Here's what you need to do. Okay, just literally hit the brush. Okay, so when you do it, it is going to create these dots, star-like dots for you here. And there is going to be a lot of this gesso coming onto your on your own cells. So just make sure that stay a little bit further away. That is it. Let's dry this. Any questions? Please let me know.
I think they'd like to see that last step again.
Okay, sure. So here is what I did. Whatever gesso was left after you did the highlighting, what you need to do is just water it down, okay? With some clean water, just water down your gesso to something like this, okay? Now what I did is take some of this watered down gesso on your brush, okay? And hit it with your palette knife like this. Keep on moving your paintbrush to do it on different areas. Okay, like this. So this will create the illusion of stars and all. Are we good? Alina, should I continue? Keep on continuing because I think it's almost 3
Yes,
o'clock.
please go. Please go ahead. Yep.
Sure, sure. So the next step is I will just, try to attain some more depth in this area because we added gesso over here and over here. Now, what I need to do is just add a little bit more depth. Okay, so what I'm going to do is once again take the watered down black impasto paint. To attain depth or shadows, you need to do this. Take watered down black impasto paint and go over the edge once again like this. Okay, because we did a lot of highlighting over the edges as well. So I need to make sure that I get the depth back. So this is how I do it. Make sure your paint is very watery at this stage. So I am just going in these areas once again, like so. Now what I do is completely clean my brush. Okay, my brush has water in it, right? I'm just simply going to pull up this paint. Pull up this paint. Similarly, clean your brush once again. It has water in it. Pull up this paint. Okay. And once again, without disturbing anything, take a paper towel, just dab it so that it does not have a sharp edge anywhere, especially in the white areas. Okay, now once that is done, add a lot of water in these areas. This is going to blend this black perfectly for you. Dab it like this. I'm going over the edges. Here. Once again, dab it. Okay. I want a little bit more blended look near the wings. Just add water and dab that again. Now, let's give it a quick heat dry. Now what I will do is add my bronze highlights. Okay, so bronze was my third color besides blue, black. So black and gray is literally similar family. So I consider them one color. And this is my third color. So this is the bronze color. And what I'm going to do is take it on the back of this finger. And I'm going to add some highlights like this in these areas. Okay, going to add it on top here. Of course, you should use a paintbrush for it. On this area, like so, the ridge. Okay, just color it with this bronze, extend it a little bit over on the side. to take a little bit more. And now this is where my floral cluster is going to go. So because I'm creating something in the length, I just wanted to accentuate that length. So what I did was just need to create, just take a paintbrush wherever it's touching the bottom, just try to, sweep it like this. Just add it on the edge with the palm of your finger and, with your finger, and just push it up like this. Okay, with your finger and push it up like so. Okay, and if you want, you can always add a few touches here and there. That's completely up to you. Okay, and once this is done, you see how I'm forming a line. What I will do is just simply drag this brush with a little bit of paint. If you're not very good with doing it, just take this palette knife, place it like in a very straight line. Do this. That's all. Okay. And now, once this is done, let's start with the hair. Now, if you have a 3D outliner or something like that, it would be a great way to go, because I do not have it. And so it did not come to my mind, instantly that I could have used it. But just to let you know that it would have been way more easier if you have a 3D pen or something that is going to give you a good outline. Okay. So if you have something like that, please use that. I don't have it. And of course, it did not click to me at that point in time. So I used twine. And this is how you're going to work with twine. You just need to, add, take a very clean brush, dip it in gesso. Okay. And because gesso is actually, it has glue properties as well. So you can, adhere things with gesso as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shape this twine exactly like her hair. Now I'm just going to repeat this once more. If you have a 3D outliner, okay, if you have any pen or anything that gives three-dimensional, lines, can give three-dimensional lines or effects, you can use that, because it is going to make your work so much more easier. I did not have it, and I have never used anything of that sort, so it did not come to me naturally. And twine was the first thing that I saw, and I made it out of twine. Okay. So just so you know, I could have made your work a little easier here, but no, I am using a string. But it's not a problem if you can manipulate it.
I think it's great that you used what you had and what came to mind, whether it was a hot glue, black gesso, white gesso, whatever you were doing. And obviously, Hemteek, thank you to our sponsor, Hemteek, for giving you guys the
yes, because exactly, because twine, even though you can use hot glue and stuff like that, twine, you can create so many textures with twines. So many techniques are there with twine textures. You can roll them up, you can create shapes with them and create textures with them, right? So this is like one very great way to attain texture. I love using twine on my projects. I think if you watch any of my Prima videos, you will always find some or the other form of twine in there. How did you dry brush and wear? It's perfect. You can always use white when we are covering this now, when we are using this twine to with our gesso, What you're doing is you're using so much gesso that your twine will automatically, turn white. And even if it doesn't, it really hardly matters. It hardly matters. Most of the times we aim for perfection so much that we really miss out on enjoying the process, right? And we fret so much that it's not nice, it's not looking like so and so. Just enjoy the process, because we all are learning something new through this. Even I am getting to know so many things by doing it so many times. So just enjoy the process. Don't worry a lot about if you the color of her hair, the color of the flowers and everything. How did you dry brush and where? Okay, so the dry brushing was like so. I have gesso on my brush. I just remove the excess gesso, okay? When I feel that my brush is like relatively, it does not have a lot of product, what I do is I simply just do this in circular motions, okay? For dry brushing, your brush needs to be completely dry, because these areas, especially these areas, they do not have a lot of raised details, so they will not pick up on everything. So you just need to make sure that your brush is like completely dry before you do that. It should not be wet, otherwise it will not, help you in any way. So just keep on shaping her hair with gesso, okay? And I am going to add one more twine, maybe someplace. Okay, so I'm just going to apply some gesso inside these areas. Make sure all of this twine is like literally covered in gesso, because you want it to stay properly. And then I'm just going to, build up some gesso like this. Take your brush and place some gesso. Now just simply create, these lines to create that extra hair-like look. Just do this. Okay. And now whatever some people were saying, like some pencil marks had created a mess on their project. So you can always, when the canvas is like completely dry, you can go back and clean all of that up, right? If you have white acrylic paint, it is going to give you even better coverage. But if you don't, the white gesso is going to work as perfect. You may need to just build up a little for that. So here I am just touching up a little on some areas, and our hair is done. Clean your brush after using gesso, modeling paste, any pastes or paint. Just make sure you keep on cleaning your brush, right? Okay, now that we have it, let's assemble our flowers and our chipboards. So here is the chipboards that I'm going to use. Take these out. You can use as much or as little as you want. It's completely up to you. Okay. Now what you need to do is just start assembling. Use your hot glue. So I'm just dropping a lot of glue on this spot here. Okay, let's just place this. Hold it firmly for a few seconds before it dries, or if you have some, cardboard pieces, I'll just show it to you. So these pieces of cardboard, the corrugated cardboard, are going to give you good dimension. Oops, my God. Just a small piece over there. Okay. Just place it like so. And on top of that, I want to arrange my flowers, right? So I'm going to get rid of this stem over here. Chop it off with scissors. Now start to shape it. And so this is like a vine that is long. What I'm doing here is like just twisting it like so that I get 3 flowers near to each other. Okay. Just remove these leaves for the time being. Right? Now remove this flower because it is just adding to the a lot of confusion to the cluster. We need to remove one flower that was very close to the cluster. Right? Like this. Now these twines, what you need to do is pull them and straighten them out. Pull them and straighten them out. Right? Now what are we left with? Something like this. All pulled up twines, right? And a cluster of flowers looking somewhat like this. Of course, there are certain leaves here and there. And now add glue on top of the chipboard and add your flowers. Just make sure you have adhered them very properly. Now the leaves that we had taken out, just add a little bit of hot glue and add it wherever you feel like. There is no hard and fast rule here. Just play around, right? Shape these twines. Shape these. Shape these, these vines. Something that you like. Okay. So this is, maybe I'll get rid of one more leaf here and add it somewhere here. So there is always an option, you just cut something from one place, you add it to someplace else, like so. Right? Now, the other chipboards that I had taken out, let's add. Now what I'm doing here is I am just trying to, accentuate the length of this cluster here. Just be very careful with your hot glue gun, guys. And one maybe I want to place on, okay, I want to do it maybe someplace here like this. Just play around. So once again, I'm going to tell you, my formation is not exactly the same. In fact, I'm very sure that's not exactly the same. So you do not have to be exactly the same, right? And just be very careful when you're using glue on such small elements. It is always better to use it with some forceps so that you do not burn yourself, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply, cut out this gear from this chipboard piece here and add it like so. No? So can you see I added 2 gears on top, 1 over here and 2 over here. So that is the gear part. Now let's assemble these small details of pebbles and everything. So just place a little bit of glue and place it on top. Just add a little bit of, let's say I want it here, little bit of glue and add it. Okay. Once again, a little bit. Okay, that was a lot of glue, but yeah. Here. And maybe I want to add one here. So just add a little bit of glue here, right? One maybe here. I have a few more left, and if you at any time feel like, okay, I want to add a little bit more someplace, a little less somewhere, you can always do that. But I think I'm good with this much right now. Maybe add, okay, let's see. Can add a leaf here if you And these leaves have wires behind them, so you can always shape them as you want. Okay. Okay. So that is our arrangement out there. And I will just give this gesso once again a quick heat try. Okay, and now what you need to do is take some black and pastel paint once again. Okay, and see if it's not still dry. So in the meanwhile, it is drying. Let us give some highlights, some more details with our white gel pen here. So now what you need to do for this is all of these dots that you have, right? These circles, just outline some of the smaller circles like so. It will just, highlight them so much more. And it's not going to be absolutely perfect, but yes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a small, outline to my pebbles and my gears here. Because this is bronze on bronze, so I just want to, add some detail. So you will need to keep this pen like facing down so that the gel can flow in. I did not keep mine. So yes, but yeah, this is how it is going to go. And you don't have to be very precise with it, okay? So please make sure you have your pen upside down so that it works properly. For these small areas, I just like to do this. I'm doing the same thing over here. And what you can also do is, if you have a little bit of gesso, just put it on your hand and literally just do this, right? Okay, and at this point in time, what you want to do is take some gesso, dab it, lightly put it on your flowers, just so that you soften them a little. On your flowers, on your leaves, somewhat like this. Do not go overboard, just do it like very lightly, just to soften them. Okay. And some of these texture lines, I'm just going to accentuate with my pen here. Now, doodling is completely optional. You can, if you want to do it, you can totally omit it if you do not want to. It's completely optional. I like to doodle in my work. So I'm doing it here, but I'm just letting you know it is completely optional. You can just stop after adding those circles and those highlights here.
Just so you know, it is 12:30, and I want to make sure that Tracy, you should also have the natural twine. I see that you're saying you have orange twine. That was just a bonus in your goodie bag, but you should have regular colored twine, or light at least. That was included in everyone's kit. So please look for that. Sometimes after we open the kit, things go all over. And the art pebbles, they were asking about the art pebbles. Oh, she did add those. Right, Jaya, you did add the little art pebbles.
No, I do not have them in my kit.
Okay.
Do you mean these art pebbles?
The stones. Yeah, you were going to
The art stones. The art stones, you mean to say?
Yeah.
No, they are not in my project. I was just letting you know that if you want to add a bit more detail, what you could do is take these art stones and add them in the nooks and crannies, and it will give you like really good effect. Okay. So, but these are not a part of my kit. I just want to let you know. So now we are approximately done. And the last step is highlighting adding a little bit of black in her hair just to bring out those details, right? So that black has to be so watered down that it literally looks like a little bit of grayish color, if I should say. So let's add it very, lightly. And pick it up with a very dry tissue paper here. Just let it bleed as it wants to in the grooves. Okay. And now wherever you feel like you want a little bit more, maybe shadows, like this is like absolutely the end. So if you, I like to, create a little bit depth over here, especially in the under this ridge, because obviously this is a point where the shadow is going to be the most. And then add a little bit black here and extend it, So just, this is like we are at the end and you want to make some corrections and everything, because of course, you know how it is. We always keep on going back to our work again and again. So just so you know, you want to increase a little bit more, contrast between the edge and the main area. Just add a little bit more black here, which is what I like to do. In the end, I always go back and add shadows where they are required the most. Okay. So like this area over here, right? Ideally, this area should have shadow because there is so much of cluster over here, right? So this area should have some shadows. So just go over there and add some watered down, sorry for this. So just go over there and add some watered down black paint in these areas. So basically, this is what it is all about. It is all about, creating a broken angel kind of effect. And these areas, I'm just going to, this area over here that you see, it's kind of half and, it's not proper. So what I'm going to do is lift up this thing here. Alina, I am done. I'm almost done. Just please give me one couple of minutes, right?
You're fine, Jaya.
Thank you. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm lifting up my flower here and adding black. Okay. Don't want a lot of black coming out over here. So I'm just going to. And now what I'm going to do is, let's heat try this so that that black stays in the same place. And when you're heat drying, just make sure you're not aiming directly on these glue drops, because ultimately they are glue drops. So that is one thing that you have to be very careful about. Okay. Now that I know it's a little dry, what I can do is, let us shape our this wine into curves, something like this. And I am going to try to adhere it in such a way that I hide this area. Okay. So I'm just simply going to place add a little bit of glue there and let my flower, this leaf stick. So you see how my flower also has a little bit gray here. So you can always, go and add gesso and cover it up. But it hardly matters. This is a mixed media piece, and in mixed media piece, you cannot be like really perfect with anything. You cannot be perfect. It is all, paints do not behave exactly the same way every time you want them to. So do not even aim for that, because it is only going to lead to a lot of, frustration. So that is it. We've added the shadows, we've added everything. And wherever you do not want your paint to go, just wipe it a little bit like this. Okay.
Michelle asked what the stretch bandage was for.
Yes, the stretch bandage, I'm just going to tell you. So this bandage was actually not exactly the product that I used in my work, because I used something like a cheesecloth. Okay, so cheesecloth, the property of cheesecloth is that you can literally, shred it like into threads like this. So it creates like really good effects, something when you tuck it like so. Okay, but unfortunately, because we are all doing this for the first time, and plus not everything can be perfect, we have this bandage here. The problem with this is that it does not behave exactly the same way. Okay, but what you can do is take out a square piece of this bandage, cut it into two, just try to remove some of that, because fabric in any form will bring softness to your project, because the flow of fabric, it literally mimics, if you let fabric flow like this, it will mimic the flow of water or something like that. So that is what I wanted to mimic with that bandage, but it's not quite possible with this. But still, just try to tuck it in like so. Okay, add a little bit of glue and try to tuck it behind to add a little bit of softness. Now it's your choice to add color to this fabric. I decided not to, because it's perfectly your choice. You can add some color on it. You can add it in bronze color. You can add blue color. But at this point in time, I think I want it in white. So just shred it like this, so that it has long threads, and tuck it in the cluster like so. Okay, tuck it in the cluster so it has these kind of threads coming out. It will give a good fuller look to your cluster, plus it will also add to the softness. The main aim of adding fabric or lace or cheesecloth is to bring softness to your project.
Okay, so Jaya, did I buy the wrong thing for your kit?
No, it's perfectly fine. It is not that big an issue actually, because I think cheesecloth is something everyone should be having. If not, this will completely work, because that is of course easier to work with, and this will work too. But you just need to make sure you literally, let me show it to you once again. This is your the product that you have received. Now you just need to cut out a square piece. Oopsies. And cut it in half like this. Now remove these strands like so that you have long threads like this, right? Now just literally fold it to whatever amount you need. Okay, let's say I needed this much. Okay, and now what you need to do is place it in behind your floral cluster so that it feels like it's coming from inside the floral cluster. Okay, it gives a very soft, beautiful look to your cluster. So you can try this and do this in your cards and whatever you are making. Just add glue and add it. Okay. So there we go. We have our angel finished. And in a hurry, I did not do the outlining properly, but you can go ahead and do it. My pen is actually not working very properly because I did not place it upside down. So you should always make sure that you do that before you start working with it.
Okay, well, I'm sure that we all have all the information we need.
Yes, and anything, if you have any problems, anything that you feel like you want to know, just let me know. I can answer your questions right now, or you can always get back to me any point in time.
Absolutely. And we have some attendees that are raising their hand. So I'm going to bring them on so that they can show us what they've created.
Yes, please, please, please.
Yeah.
I would be so glad to see.
It's beautiful. Okay, let's see. We have Diane. If you would like to come on and show what you have created, please go ahead and raise your hand. Diane, your camera should be available to come on. Go ahead and turn on your camera, Diane. Okay, Diane, I'm not sure what's going on with yours, but Julie Garcia, go ahead and turn on your camera.
Hello, everybody. I just
Julie.
had a wonderful time. Can you hear me?
Yes, I love it.
Yes. Oh, that is so beautiful.
I have super long hair, so I had to go with this long hair. I tried so hard. I had a wonderful time, and I enjoyed the technique. I'm new to mixed media, and you described it, explained it perfectly well. If I could do this, I tell you anybody can. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This looks so beautiful, Julie. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Looks gorgeous.
Love it.
Thank you.
Okay, Diane, are you able to get your camera on?
Thank you, Angela.
Diane, I'm not seeing you. Let's see, I'm going to bring on Stephanie. Okay, Stephanie, go ahead and turn your camera on. All right, Stephanie, you're in.
So here is mine. I had to step away a couple of times so we're open today. So I missed some steps, but I missed the step of how to get the texture on the wings. So I'll have to watch the replay. But it was fun.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
It's beautiful. I like all the glitteriness there, Stephanie.
Well, down here, when I opened up the bronze thing, I don't know, because we're in Wisconsin, if it froze, I unscrewed the cap and it exploded. So that's why I have this.
No problem. You can always fix it. You can go ahead and add some more, gesso, then just do the same process all over that you did here. Just do it over here and cover it.
Yeah.
Let it dry and cover.
How to do texture, because I missed that part. So.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a happy accident. I'd leave it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
See you later. Okay, let's see, Regina. You're up, girl.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Regina. Oh, wow, that's gorgeous. That is gorgeous. So beautiful, Regina. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to see your results, and I can't tell you. This is gorgeous. Thank you so much.
Look at her cute hair pony.
Actually,
Here.
actually,
So cute.
too beautiful. Yeah, really. So happy.
This was all right. So every weekend is my favorite class. The first weekend was watercolors. That was my new favorite. Second weekend, something else. This is my new favorite.
Oh my God, I'm so happy to know that.
I love it.
I would love to see your pieces, if you try on these techniques in the future, I would love to see them. The possibilities actually endless. You can create so many things.
Yeah, I can't wait to do another. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Regina.
Well, okay, let's see. Nancy, you're up. Go ahead and turn on your camera.
Is it working? Tara?
I can't see you. Oh, here you come.
Do you understand me?
Yes, I see you. Beautiful.
Oh, that's gorgeous. So pretty. So beautiful.
It was
I
very
love
fun
her.
for me. And again, I was out of my comfort zone.
I understand that, and I'm so happy you did it because this looks gorgeous. And trust me, I believe that you can do so many things now. Once you get that technique and how the things work, the possibility is literally endless.
Thank you.
This looks beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing it.
Thanks.
I love it. Okay, next up is Terry. Do you guys hear me clicking away? It takes so many clicks to get you guys on. Whoops, dang it. Oh, dang it. Oh crap, hold on, Terry. Raise your hand again for me. Oh, well, hold on, Terry. Where are you? I lost Terry. Oh, there you are. Okay. All right, Terry, it should let you turn on your camera. There you are. Hold on. Okay. Whew.
Can you see it?
Hold it up higher.
Oh, so
my
pretty.
goodness. Look at all that bronze.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I used the white pearl on the wings.
Oh, nice. That's the wax by Finnaber, right? So gorgeous. Looks so glamorous, right? Absolutely gorgeous. I love it,
enjoyed
Teddy.
this so much, Jaya. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me, Teddy.
Definitely love this technique and we'll use it.
Oh my God. I can't wait to see you all create more of this.
Amazing.
My
I was
God,
looking
you
forward
have-
to this. Thank you.
You have a lot to do, Terry. You got to make purses. You got to decorate some more clothes. How's those aprons coming? All right.
No, girl. Bye.
All right. Bye. Okay. So great. Let's see. Who do we have here? Carrie Ann. Carrie Ann from Norway. Okay, ready? All right, Carrie Ann, turn your camera on. Here we go. All right. Oh,
Wow, that's gorgeous. That is so pretty.
God, you guys did so good with your wings.
wax.
White pearl, yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. So beautiful.
Thank
So
you.
pretty.
It was really fun.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh my God, that is really gorgeous. Thank you, Tim. Thank you,
Bye.
Carry On.
Beautiful. Wow, everyone did so good with their wings.
I'm really surprised because I was very apprehensive of it, that if whether or not people will be able to, do it or not.
Well, yeah, 'cause it's not like super, it looks easy, but oh my gosh, it takes practice. Okay.
Takes practice, actually. And I'm happy that we have so many talented people
Yes.
here. Oh my God.
Yeah, everyone is doing amazing. Okay, Denise, are you with us? Where are you, Denise? You should be able to turn, yep, there you are. Hold on. Okay. Okay, Denise, let's see it.
Beautiful. Wow, that's gorgeous. I can't see her fully. I
Can you
think her camera is
position
muted,
it
right?
to position it to your left a little bit, Denise. We can't see the whole thing. Yeah, there you go.
Gorgeous. Beautiful once again. And she used those wings too, right? The wings chipboard. Beautiful, Denise. Thank you so much.
Lovely.
Lovely.
We can't hear you, Denise.
We can't hear, yeah.
Unmute.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I did use the wings, and then instead of making the little dots, I grabbed a couple seashells.
oh, that's gorgeous. Nice.
Not really
That's
with
so
the
beautiful.
theme, but it's with my theme. So
Absolutely. That's the whole essence of it. It has to be your art, right? I'm just giving you the techniques. You have to make it look your own.
okay.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay. And next up we have, where'd they go? Danny and Perrin. Last one. If anyone else wants to come in though, please let us know. And then I will go ahead and start the next. Whoops, come on.
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
You're plugged in and your audio set?
Okay, you should be, we can hear you, but we can't see you guys.
Oh, where is my camera button? Okay.
Down there, start video.
Start. Oh, I have to start video. Oh, there you go. Perfect.
All right, let's
Well,
see.
Danny's wings were too wet. However, mine weren't. So
Woo!
there
Nice.
we go.
Awesome. So beautiful. This is gorgeous. Really, absolutely gorgeous.
Good. Everybody's
Once again, absolutely. Everyone's done great work here.
I left over a little glass dome thingies.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. One less work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. This gives much better dimension than the hot glue
Oh,
ones.
the glue gun is a really neat trick if you're in a pinch.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Anne.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Great class.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Everyone's wings came out so good. I'm so impressed. Okay, so I did go in and create a post. And I did make, but my wings are not anything like, okay, so I was trying to do a wrap around.
That is amazing.
Wings
that
will
is amazing, Alina.
Not doing
I'm
what-
not. Oh, this is gorgeous.
It looks all mushed.
No, it's absolutely perfect. I don't think that it's absolutely perfect. Thank you so much. This is gorgeous, and I love that bronze kind of look that you've given here, along with that, this black and color blocking concept is coming out so well, right?
Fun, yeah. I'm gonna do some journaling on it with the white pen, and I got it. The wings are wet. I just was working on them.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
this
it's
is
perfect.
so much fun, Jaya. You guys have done amazing. You guys, I hope, Barbara said my wings are crooked. My wings are uneven. Like, I don't know why I tried to do two. What a ding dong. Like, you know how hard it is to make symmetry with.
No, these are broken. These are the wings of a broken angel, and they do not need to be symmetrical. Yeah, that's the whole point. You can. Thank you so much, Elena. Thank you so much, everyone.
Jaya, put it back on your face so we can see.
Yeah, sure.
I've got to tell you this, you are an amazing teacher. So be very confident in what you do because you did great. And you explained really well. And yeah, I know we all, by the end of this, we're just like, I mean, lots of stuff, right? So thank you guys so much. I will start the next room. You were
thank you so much.
Really thorough. So I appreciate it, Jaya. Here, hold up your piece so I can take a picture. Hold up your piece.
Okay, sure. Just a second.
Oh, yeah, both. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese. Okay. Yay! All right, I'll post that too. Thank you, Jaya. Thank you, everyone. I will start the next class. Next is Danita, right? I think Danita's next. Oh, Danita's amazing.
That
Jaya.
class is awesome. I know. I'm waiting to learn that.
Yeah.
Watercolor is like really fun.
It is.
So satisfying.
It is. And it's a very forgiving talent. But when you're doing a portrait like she is, that's a little
tough. Yeah, I understand.
It'll be fun though. Okay, thank you, Jaya.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. See you soon.
Bye-bye. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you.